The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
Why?
Let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for.
Ah!
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers,
You pig! Stop! Damn it!
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Sport!
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Super Bowl 58 Tuesday, February 6, 2024. This sports program starts now.
Football
is beautiful, and this weekend, a champion will be crowned of the NFL season. We'll be heading out to Vegas this evening, and we'll be there the rest of the week at Radio Row with a stocked lineup of guests that we cannot wait to chit-chat about as we get ready to celebrate the NFL season that was. And, you know, last night while I was at Monday Night Raw in St. Louis, Missouri, with some things, you know, happening in the WWE world that'll be settled, I believe, more settled at least on Thursday, T-Mobile Arena, 4 o'clock local, 7 p.m. Eastern. The boys of the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers had their media night, their opening day. We're getting a chance to not only hear from the coaches and the players, but Roger Goodell also spoke yesterday on the season that was and is. So today should be a fabulous conversation about everything NFL related. We'll be joined by the boy, Will Compton.
Okay.
He's kind of taking up residency in Las Vegas with Uncle Dana White. He and Taylor Lewan obviously are bussing with the boys. He'll be at Radio Row a day before us. We'll be chit-chatting with him there. They kind of stole the night last night. Got some good quotes from not only the friends, George Kittle, Travis Kelce, and others, but they were peacocking around, as they should. David Lombardi and Nate Taylor will join us for a Feel the Beat in the second hour. Obviously, Lombardi himself covering the Niners, Nate Taylor covering the Chiefs. What are some stories that we aren't keeping up with? Coyote bit a guy.
Whoa.
Coyote bit a guy.
Very serious.
In Las Vegas at Lake Las Vegas that we knew existed before last week whenever we found out that the teams are staying 25 to 30 miles away from the strip. The NFL's doing everything it can to be like, hey, boys, let's go ahead and keep you separated out there. Well, there's a bunch of coyotes. One of them bit a player.
Yeah.
And then how about the field? What do we got going on with the field? The practice field, because obviously Schefter told us they're pissed.
So bad.
People are not happy about it. Then Kyle Shanahan came out and said, what are you talking about? Roger Goodell said, what are you talking about? Then ESPN NFL posted it on the Instagram, and then ESPN NFL clarified in a comment section, like, all the speculations that the NFL and the NFLPA agreed to, this grass field, natural turf field that was put in for the players is up to all the regulation and the code. But what other stories are happening around these teams that we don't necessarily follow as closely because we're more of a broad group of doofuses?
Sure.
Then we'll be joined by Antonio Pierce, the new head coach of Las Vegas.
Whoa.
And the third hour. Should be a massive day. We're lucky to be here. The Toxic Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. That's a wolf, the older brother of a coyote. But I would like to see how this thing was handled with the coyote.
I mean, I'm not sure. There's two wolves. Actually, there's the yin and yang wolves, as we've mentioned.
Nice.
But I'm glad it wasn't a wolf out there because I'm sure a coyote can, hold its own. You get a wolf running up on you, you're dead.
No.
You're dead in the street, my friend.
I don't know if there's any desert wolves. I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
100%.
I guess coyotes.
100%.
That's what coyotes are.
Yeah, they're kind of just like
The desert wolves.
battered wolves.
Yeah.
I've seen them out here in Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
Just jogging right down the middle of the street. Some of them are the size of like a German Shepherd.
Bingo.
Some of them are a little bit smaller.
Yep.
Some of them are a little bit bigger.
Huge.
Depending on how good of a hunter said coyote is, I think is depending upon the size. But they do look like very kickable.
Yeah.
Like right
Very.
in the head.
Yep.
If it was to attack you.
Ribs.
Have to have those thoughts because you got dogs, you got animals
Right.
out here in Indiana. You accidentally let them out at night.
Yep.
And all of a sudden you hear, "Rah, rah, rah," and you look out and one of these little bastards is attacking your dog. You got to have it in the front of your mind where you're attacking that thing. From my standpoint, after eyeing a coyote and having the visualization of it attacking my dog Valerie.
Sure.
Now, Chuck, if a coyote was to attack the fattest corgi of all time, Chuck, I don't think Jaws would be able to get around.
No.
Chuck would actually wear it down. The coyote would tap out from submission from not being able to beat the flubber that the corgi has. But my pit bull Shar-Pei, 11-year-old Valerie, she looks like she could be a little bit of attackable at this stage. So I thought about what I would do to a coyote. I'm going right boot, right to jaw,
Bingo.
and that thing is yeet. I wonder if that's what whichever player got attacked by this coyote did.
Name yourself.
We would like to hear who it was, and did you protect this house? Because I would like to hear if my plan of attack for a coyote will work for the good of my dog and also others around the country.
That's right.
So that's a big deal for us to learn what happened with this coyote and this NFL player. One half of the hammer, Dahn, Cowboys. I'm betting that the NFL player broke the jaw of the coyote.
Yeah, I looked it up. Coyotes, biggest they get is normally around 45 pounds. So I'm thinking they handled this coyote pretty well. If it was a wolf, thank God it wasn't a wolf because I'm pretty sure they're the size of a minivan. Like you walk up, a wolf walks up on you.
A moose?
Yeah, basically.
You're talking about a moose?
No, I'm talking about a wolf.
No, one of my friends had a half wolf, half shepherd, called it Damien.
Okay.
That thing howled. I howled alongside of it.
How big was it?
Big. Put its paws up on my shoulders, trying to hump me.
That's only half a wolf.
That thing tried to have sex with me. That thing tried to have sex with me because I howled. It howled alongside of me. Wolves are massive. Coyotes are small. But we got players getting attacked, Toad.
No, we can't have it.
We can't have that. We got fields
Where's
being
the security? Okay, you suspend this guy for how long? What? You spend Big Dom for what, 6, 7, 8 weeks?
Oh, yeah.
Where's Big Dom? Okay.
Yeah.
Why can't Big Dom be out there with a 50 cal sniper rifle on the top of one of these hotels just picking off coyotes all night long? Because I know he would.
You're talking about the Big Dom for the Niners or the Chiefs, obviously, because Big Dom is only for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I think for the Super Bowl, Big Dom should be there to protect both teams.
Did anybody ask Roger Goodell yesterday about Big Dom? That is going to be some follow-up that we will certainly have to all of the stuff that took place in Roger Goodell's press conference that used to be on Friday, open to the public. Big press conference.
Oh, yeah.
We used to all literally watch and be like, okay, Roger's going to say some shit without saying some shit, but he'll be able to lean into what he's thinking about for the future in these questions, and it's the first time anybody gets kind of hammered with questions. Then it got moved earlier in the week. Now it is on Monday, and I think it's invite only for media, and I'm not saying he just got layups, but like, I liked watching Roger Goodell work. I enjoyed watching Roger have to dance. I enjoyed him showcasing why he gets paid $60 million a year. He's the greatest political speaker of all time. Can take you on a ride, give you an answer without giving anything up at the same time. Feels like yesterday was a little bit of Roger Goodell didn't want to throw his fastball to the world. We need that back next year. But I do appreciate him talking about the state of the NFL. 9-year NFL vet, football IQ through the roof, host of the Man to Man podcast and everything DB, good D, bad D, Darius J. Butler. D-Butch, you look incredibly cool. Did you see anything last night from either media opening day or Roger Goodell's press conference that caught your eye that we should start with?
The Chiefs really being the villains, getting booed like that. I love to see that because, that's only going to bring out the best in the guys like Mahomes, Andy Reid. Obviously, some of the things Goodell was talking about, getting getting Taylor into it, the script, all those different things. So some interesting things from opening night.
Okay, so let's start with what you were talking about, the boys being the villains. And obviously, Travis Kelce is a very beloved character before this particular season. Patrick Mahomes, very beloved human being before seemingly all the success came down his chimney, seemingly, dropped out of nowhere. Here's Travis Kelce talking to the crowd, the 49ers fans, and how much he's embracing being the bad guy.
And it's been absolute. Y'all are firing me up, making me want to play right now, baby. Woo! I love the boos more than I love the cheers, baby. Keep them coming, Niners gang. Keep them coming.
Okay, so he said, I love the boos more than I love the cheers. That's kind of happened this year with Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
He's on every single commercial.
Yep.
He's dating Taylor Swift.
Right.
They're in the middle of a dynastic run. His podcast is the biggest on earth. I hate this guy is the natural reaction. I assume a guy who considers himself a fountain and an energy giver didn't love that he became the bad guy. But now, classic Ohio dude out of Cleveland, embracing the world, hating him, we might see the greatest Travis Kelce for the next 10 years, Ty.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, I'm sure if you're a competitor like these guys are, you get all this stuff, and especially this year for him, like he can't escape
his own image. It's like everywhere he goes, he's probably seeing, like you always talk about, like, hey, I'm in certain places, like I'm seeing way too much of myself right now. Like you kind of just want to get away. Like he can't do that. He has the biggest podcast in the world. He's literally the it couple, like world-renowned celebrity couple, which I don't know. There's a handful of people in the world who actually know what that experience is like. And then on top of it, you're in the middle of this dynasty. Like, it's probably nice. Like, okay, yeah, the being like, getting all this praise and adulation all the time is nice. But when people, at the end of the day, people are booing you and you go into other people's house and you get to like kind of just rip their throats out. You're a competitor. You're a football player. Like all these guys deep down, whether they say it or not, and now they're kind of starting to show that they do. Like, they love it. You have to love it.
Stone cold killers on that Chiefs team.
Absolutely.
Chris Jones, Patrick Mahomes had the same exact thought. But let's not get it twisted. San Francisco 49ers filled with very similar humans. Brock Purdy was asked about, breaking the heart of Taylor Swift.
Whoa.
If it comes down to it, Brock, and it's late in the fourth quarter, are you prepared to disappoint Taylor Swift?
Yes. Leave it at that.
Say it again?
Yes, I'll leave it at that.
Okay, well, she write a song about it.
Well, Scott Hansen, obviously hosts of Red Zone. He's hitting all the hot topics. What we all noticed is obviously that Brock Purdy seems to be very comfortable in every moment. But what you just realized, too, thought there would be a little bit more of a size difference between Brock and Pat.
Thought it'd be a little more Drake May, Sam Howell.
No.
Kind of right there.
Same hand size.
Hey, Brock.
Brock Purdy, same hand size as Patrick Mahomes, on the same stage as Patrick Mahomes, handling questions about Taylor Swift. He has to think to himself, just 2 years ago I was at Iowa State. Nobody thought I was going to do anything. I was maybe going to have to go back to school, get my degree, figure out what the hell I would be doing if I wasn't a professional football player. Maybe the XFL, maybe the USFL. And now he's answering questions about breaking Taylor Swift's heart and maybe being a part of the Tortured Poets album coming up here in April 19th.
Yeah, that's right. Man. Not to mention, I mean, I know we had a conversation about this, but there's been a little bit conspiracy theory around, the number 13 and Brock Purdy with Taylor Swift because, February 2nd on the 11th, you had those together. What is that? 13, Taylor Swift's favorite number. Brock Purdy, quarterback for the Niners.
February 2nd, 11th.
Well, 2 is February.
2 is February.
February's the 2/11.
2 plus 11.
2/11.
13. Brock Purdy,
and
number.
that's the year 2024. You just don't even.
Nope.
That's not even part of it.
No. The equation ends right here.
Right. Month and day.
Yeah.
Always.
But if you do 20 minus 4, 16.
You remember that game 24 back in the day?
Dominated.
I was very good at that game as well.
We were both in gifted and talented education.
Bingo.
We
Only for that game.
Yeah, they said, hey, you guys are too smart to be with the regular kids. You guys need to go learn math and play 24 all day long. It was sweet. Yeah,
Which we did, yeah. Actually, we're just competitive and you were putting numbers in front of our face. Seems like we just ate the nerds alive. I've never been considered smart in school except for when they put that 24 game.
Great game.
Oh, this guy might be a genius. Nope, just want to beat the nerds here. This is pretty simple in there. But what is the conspiracy theory that we're hearing about?
Essentially, conspiracy theories on both sides. It's like, okay, hey, because Brock Purdy is number 13, Taylor Swift's favorite number, he is going to be the one to take down Mahomes and the Chiefs, which everybody wants that to happen. But the other side of it is because Brock Purdy is the number 13 in the day and the month.
There are so many people mad right now listening to this bullshit.
Oh, I bet. This is conversation on the internet, people.
This is not doing, by the way, I mean, there was a video and Travis Kelce was asked about his fade in the article where Travis Kelce is like, them putting that out on February 1st is just throwing me to the wolves.
Yeah.
Us talking about Taylor Swift and the 13 and Travis Kelce, them relating, is just building up how much everybody hates him. But that's life at the top. This is the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be talking about everything that takes place there. Roger Goodell's press conference is something that normally draws conversation for months and months after the Super Bowl because he normally alludes to a lot of things. The big thing we learned last night is, numerous, but Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, Friday night of opening week. Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Eagles lose a home game to Brazil, and it's the opening weekend or whatever. And we had learned about Brazil's fan base through whenever we were working alongside DAZN. DAZN has the international NFL rights. And there were some countries that were very large into the NFL. Germany was one of them, obviously. I think Italy was another one. Spain, Canada, obviously. Mexico, huge. Brazil seemingly had a fan base for the NFL that was much larger than many of the other countries. So now they're taking a game there. How you doing? The NFL continuing to expand and evolve, Con Man. That was the biggest piece of information. Me and Michael Cole, before the show goes, last time Monday Night Raw, me and Cole just talking. kind of going through some stuff. Hey, this is who this person is. This is who this person is. This stuff happened. I'm like, thank you, Cole. Can't wait to get out there. Con man, just like last week, whenever he heard the I love yous from Travis to Taylor, he goes, yes, we got it. And I'm like, what? He goes, Roger Goodell just took a home game away from the Philadelphia Eagles and sent it to Brazil. And it's happening Friday night opening week.
Yeah.
It is big news, though, because as they continue to expand and grow into these like international games, more home games are going to get plucked from some of these cities. People are going to get pissed whenever they start losing money in games, especially when they're paying for season tickets over generational stuff like Philadelphia fans have for a long time.
And Brazil's going to be such a great venue. Like,
It's going to be a ridiculous.
It's going to be nuts. All those people in Sao Paulo. It's going to be incredible.
Sao Paulo.
I, for one, am excited because it's a Friday night game. Like we've always talked about, hey, the NFL stays away from Friday night because Friday night lights in high school football. And obviously that is a real thing. But if we can see what the numbers would be on a Friday night NFL game abroad, and it's Philly, I do worry about Philadelphians in Brazil. I'm just going to put that out there now. I think they need to be on their P's and Q's. I think they need to be very, very careful, and they shouldn't be running their mouths. Because
what happened with that swimmer? Didn't he just make something up?
Ryan Lochte?
Yeah.
The fake robbery.
You remember that?
Got boozed up and destroyed a gas station and then said, this guy tried to kill me.
John, I was talked, dude. John, bro. But the Brazilian fans, I think, will show up.
Absolutely.
And as these continue to grow, like what Germany did last year, and obviously London has done over the years, what Mexico has shown to do, Canada, same exact thing. It's like only going to continue to grow. It's good for the business. And you talk about numbers and everything like that. Roger Goodell talked a lot yesterday about numbers. The amount of people that watched that only available on Peacock thing he addressed, the number of people he's expecting to watch this Super Bowl, he's saying 200 million.
Yeah.
He said 200 million people in America are going to watch this game.
Damn.
Last year was like 120 or 114 or something like that. He's thinking 200 million people are going to watch the Super Bowl. That's absurd. Everything is up and to the right for the NFL, but from what Roger Goodell's being told by people I assume that are in the know, it's only growing exponentially. Go into Brazil. They take a game to Australia, take a game into Africa, continue to grow into Europe. It's like global expansion is happening right in front of our eyes with Roger Goodell, D-Bud.
That's what they want. I think ultimately it's going to be better for the game, too. The more you see it happen in the NBA, the more the game has got globalized, the more superstars come from these different countries, different places. You start to have different clinics or camps or school where you can cultivate different talent in different places, and I'm sure it's a dream right now for Goodell. It's good to be obviously attached to the NFL, but in the position that he's in, and you were talking about it earlier before we went on air. You know, some people feel like he's the smartest man in the world. He's, manipulating all these things. It's scripted, it's this, that, and the third. And then he's just growing it. The owners, I'm sure, are happy. He's happy. So it's dope. And 200 million people, though. What is it, 350 million in America?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
30.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Can see it.
And just to say that number, because if it's under, now Roger Goodell's going to have to answer about why he over-projected the amount of people. And Roger never does. Roger's always shh. And I know he's a genius businessman. He's proven that through time and time again. Just look where the NFL is. And now the great sport of football helps. Football is a fantastic sport that is obviously easy to sell to a lot of people. But the amount of credit that people give Roger Goodell to script every single season and to make sure everybody keeps a secret. I assume at night when he's laying down with his wife eating his peanut M&Ms on a leather chair or whatever the case is, he's like, these people think I'm a super genius. But I assume he's also like, how do these people think I'm able to do all these things and keep everything in check? He's Roger Goodell. That's why. Speaking of a man who's able to keep everything in check, this dude's running the game right now. He's running his own race too.
Yeah.
He's a host of Bussin' with the Boys, obviously an incredibly popular sports podcast from the Barstool Sports Network. He's a man who got gypped out of the final year of his phenomenal decade run as an NFL stud linebacker and special teamer. Ladies and gentlemen, friend of the program, Will Compton.
What's up, boys?
Are you at our set?
Yeah. Brother, you requested me to come on. I've been telling everybody, hey, I'm going on the Pat McAfee Show. I'm going on Pat McAfee Show. We walk over here. The security guy's like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, isn't Pat set up over here? And he's like, oh, he doesn't get in until tomorrow. And then I'm learning that it's a Zoom time and I don't get to see the boys and hug you in person. But yeah, I'm snuck on your set right now. They got your set. They got you set up nice. There's JP in the back.
Hey, what's up, JP? Hey, how's the desk? Does the desk seem to be sturdy? That is hilarious.
The desk is good. I was working on my Pat McAfee pose. I was trying to get all this stuff, make sure everything's set up right. But you're set up nice out here.
Thank you for doing that. You and me, ADD both. Make sure that thing can move, get up, get down. You know you got to do it all. You were at. That's hilarious, by the way. Will, you are a classic human being. Continue to be so, and I can't wait to watch the heights that you'll soar alongside Bussin' with the Boys, Taylor Lewan. Speaking of, last night you guys kind of won, opening night at the media day. Is that the first time you've been there? What was the energy like, and how do the boys feel? Feels like everybody's kind of calm and ready for the game.
Yeah, so last year we got to do Radio Row. We didn't get to hit the media day, but this year we got the credential to get into media days, and it was kind of like, we didn't know what to expect. It's kind of, hey, let's kind of use our physical stature to sneak up to the front and then just obnoxiously yell at the boys who kind of knew that we were going to be there and just have like fun questions. Like we got to ask Andy Reid about the cheeseburgers. We got to ask Travis Kelce. He's like, oh, I see you got the Travis Kelce fan. I was like, brother, what was it like benching 315? But we just asked a lot of fun questions and it was a great time. Like me and Taylor sniffed the Super Bowl. I never sniffed the Super Bowl. So just being around all of that, it's been incredible.
Okay, so you got some great answers. I did see from Taylor Lewan's question that the New Heights podcast gave credit to Bussin' with the Boys for being the inspo. That is fantastic news. And you said that you wanted to use your physical stature to maybe get some maybe respect from those who are up on the thing. Did you hear this rumor? And obviously you're Tennessee Titan and Coach Vrabel's favorite player from what I've been told. Yeah. Did you hear that Diana Rossini said that when she was down at the Senior Bowl, one GM told her that Vrabel's physical stature in those meetings is kind of scary to some people. And that might be why he didn't get hired as a head coach after getting fired from the Tennessee Titans. Now, obviously, this is an alley-oop for us to go about 1,000 different ways here on the fact that a football coach is not getting hired because he's too much of an alpha, he's too big of a dog, he's in too good a shape, he's too much of a specimen. That is what football is in its whole. But how do you feel about that? And what are your thoughts on Vrabes not having a job seemingly in 2024 in the NFL?
So I think Vrabe, he's just enjoying his time right now. I think he's probably got a lot of different options. I mean, when you're a head coach that gets fired, you got a nice little buyout, so you can kind of sit back and weigh what options, kind of pick your right situation. I saw Diana yesterday. I said, hey, Diana, you're kind of going viral on one of them those little bot news programs out there. And she was laughing. She's like, yo. She's like, I know, like, they're taking me out of context, yada, yada. But speaking on Mike Vrabel's presence and stature when he walks into a room, that is spot on. I'm talking about the intimidation factor of Mike Vrabel is 10 out of 10. But as a football guy, that is exactly what you want in the building. The dude commands respect. I think that some of that bullshit that these little bot Twitters out there have, like, they just report reports. They make up shit. They say breaking like it's the most insane thing going on right now. And I think it was taken out of context. I hate it because I know Vrabe, he'll be hitting the jewel and he'll be scrolling and he'll see it and he'll get a little, hey, what's going on here? So I think it was a little out of context.
Yeah, hitting a jewel, chewing a gin, also with some coke, taking a Marlboro, chugging a beer. Like, he is everything that is like old school dude. Football guy. Yeah. Like, he's everything you would want and a phenomenal football coach. We listened to the clip that Diana Rossini said it. She certainly kind of laid it out as a GM saying that is potentially one of the reasons, not necessarily the reason. And back to your point about these aggregator accounts, buddy, they've thrown us into like 6 wars right now, just taking our stuff and throwing us into it's not good. It's good. Crazy. It's good the amount of people that are in, like, fans of the NFL and passionate, want to cover it. But, man, there's some real narratives being built that just aren't real at all happening in our world in real time, Will.
Yes, and then they just, because you're right, it's like they cover stuff that you're kind of like, okay, it's good to see this right now. I guess they got it first, yada, yada, whatever it is. Or they're just reporting a report. But there's times where you're just like, you're literally doing this just to, what do they call it, farm engagement. But I think it's insane because they're just, I don't know. Now, you saying that Diana actually said that, I feel like that's a little bit of a different story. As a bad brain that follows the internet, sometimes I just see the bot post and I just get a little triggered myself. Yeah. But if she's quoted saying that, Diana, you gotta learn to pick your words wisely, especially when you know Coach Braves is out there. He's looking, he's watching.
Yeah, that's hilarious to think of him just, oh, is that right? Is that right?
What's that?
All right. Is that what it is? Is that and Rossini, the context and how you deliver the words matter. That's why whenever it's just typed up, it can be different. I don't think she was saying it as a matter of fact, more so as that she heard it could be a possibility. Nonetheless, that should not be a possibility in the NFL whenever we're talking about winning some damn games. Darius has a question for you, Will.
Well, I know you're out there and it's early in the week, but being that you have boots on the ground, what's the early vibe check from both teams right now, San Fran and KC?
I'll tell you what, the energy last night was fun. Just because some of the boys are going back and forth when they were up on stage, a lot of boos coming from the 49er faithful.
Yeah.
A lot of cheers when any Niner would speak, and they're all up there together. So it was fun to be around because the atmosphere. You can tell fans are showing up, they're showing out. Allegiant Stadium is just magnificent, possibly the greatest stadium in the NFL, built by the one and only Max Crosby. But the energy right now is all-time A+, 10 out of 10.
Speaking of Allegiant Stadium, Tone's got something for you, Will.
Yeah, Will, I believe you're in the Ring of Honor for the Raiders, so I figured I'd ask you about Antonio Pierce being the head coach, a fellow linebacker being a head coach. How do you feel about Antonio Pierce being the head coach of your esteemed program?
Brother, I appreciate you bringing that up. I do want to point out that there is a brick with my name on it at Allegiant Stadium, etched in history forever.
Once a Raider.
To talk, always a Raider, brother. AP, man, you see, like, Pat, when an entire locker room is behind a head coach and wanting them to get the job. Like we saw it the first time around with Rich Bisaccia. He didn't get the gig. You go McDaniel, you realize that's a mistake. And then you have AP. You make the right decision by hiring AP. I think everybody says, you guys do a great job covering it. He embodies everything it means to be a Raider. Culture, attitude, leadership. He's a player. It's a player-led locker room with him having a pulse at all times. That is super important in an organization. And it seems like he's making the right moves, hiring the right guys, and making sure they keep going and build on that momentum next year.
Max Crosby said the first day that he was interim coach, the Soul Train line came back, and then the mini hoop came back, and the entire thing. And he's been like going to bat for him since the beginning. I saw you were on his podcast, right? You stopped by. We love Max. How's he doing? Recovering from a surgery?
He's the best. He does a great job. I texted him. I saw he got a second surgery and thought he fractured his forearm and was playing through it. So I'm like, hey, brother, are you all good? He's like, oh, I just got my thumb fixed. I'm like, dog, stop showing out for social media out there, talking about unbreakable. More is required. But Max is the absolute best. We love busting balls, but it's crazy to think that he got drafted in the 5th round, has a story that he has, and truly is about being just the greatest player of all time. I think he got second in something, and he just responds, more is required. It's like, brother, you are the man, and he just always wants to chase that extra 1% that guys are obsessed with chasing every offseason.
Yeah, and just taking the surgery stuff and just getting a whole body tattoo.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Awesome.
That's real commitment. That's I didn't even know that was possible. Hey, you're going to have 17 portraits on your body when you wake up in about 8 hours. You're going to have maybe the coolest tattoo on your whole body tomorrow morning when you wake up. Would you like to do that? Sure. Yep, I'm in there. Good. He looks awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his body decoration
great.
And he never stops. And that doesn't make any sense. Well, obviously, you're known for just having – hard hat guy, first one in, last one out.
High motor,
coach's son, the whole thing. He epitomizes that times 50, it feels like, Max Crosby. How hard he goes all the time. I feel like it's, obviously abnormal, but he's the picture of everything they say about white dudes that play certain positions.
I'll tell you what, he's starting on my team. I don't know if you want to get into that, but he's definitely starting on my squad. But, dude, Max, he's got the intangibles, right? He's got the tangibles all combined. It's like DB, Pat, off seasons where you feel like you went so hard just to have, set yourself up for a good year. And there are times when you're on the field getting gassed. And knowing that Max is a pass rusher, setting the edge every play, getting after the quarterback, down in and down out, the entire game. Yeah. And the fact that he's
100% of plays.
Motor, it blows my mind because I'm thinking man, I felt like I worked pretty hard, but I'd be out there gassed God, I hope they check it down or the boys get home. I got to run deep middle. I'm trying not to run that far. But Max is just on constantly at all times. And he's the best, man. He's the king of the city. He's in the silver and black. He's tatted. He's got the face mask, the visor, the surgeries, the history to go with it. I can't say enough good things about the boy.
The cigars. I mean, everything about him.
Cigars.
What a perfect pillar for the Raiders and Antonio Pierce going forward.
Motor's crazy. And usually when the guy has a motor like that, they're not, that talented. So they got to outwork everybody. But he has the talent and the motor combined. Absolute dog. Perfect Raider.
It feels like before he had all the talent, and then now he's like kind of put all the everything aside too, and he's like laser locked in.
Yeah.
Lucky to have him. Taylor! What's up, dude?
What's up, babe? Hey, I can't hear a word you're saying, but you look fantastic as always. You guys have a great show.
Hey, ask him how Blackjack's going.
Hey, Taylor, they want to know how Blackjack's going. Tell them the truth.
So it's been positive. I will say this. I had my buddy Kenny Proden in town, small town guy doing house renovations. We were able to win 100 last night. Cost the boy 30. It was a very beneficial day for the boys. Hopefully you can come out and play. I know AJ's in.
100,000, he said.
Yeah, 100,000. 100,000.
So he's up 70? Like, hey, he's up 70,000?
Yeah. Taylor was up 100, and Taylor's kind of asking like how everything's going, and the boy was like, I got some mold going on in my house, the kids. Taylor's like, don't you worry, brother.
That's awesome.
That's a phenomenal. I've seen it on the internet. Just Taylor and Uncle Dana go into a room, seemingly a private room, with a dealer, and then there's just hundreds of thousands of dollars walking out the door, seemingly every single time. Now, it seems like it's a ride, though. Taylor almost dies every single time, almost has to remortgage the house and everything, but then by the end of the night, he's out. Is that an accurate depiction of how it goes?
Yeah, he's had a couple tough nights, but Dana, I asked him the other day, I said, Dana, have you ever, do you know of anybody else that wins like Taylor? He's like, Taylor's the only friend that I know that is up on Vegas and knows Vegas nothing.
And he's shuffling cards behind you right now?
Yeah, he's shuffling.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Thank you, Taylor. We appreciate that.
It is wild. We're back there. They're like, hey, you guys want ice cream? And it's like, if you guys are giving us some ice cream back here.
Yeah, well,
you got some tunes going, and it's a different world out here.
Yeah, you guys are living out in Vegas, seemingly. It's fantastic to follow along with. Con Man's got a question for you.
Yeah, well, something going on in Vegas, and this is a very serious question because you said this is Max Crosby City in Las Vegas, but it sure sounds like it's the Coyote City in Las Vegas right now. Apparently, a former NFL player, or current NFL player, rather, was bit by a coyote last night. You are boots on the ground. Yeah, here it is. Super Bowl attacked by a coyote last night at Lake Las Vegas. Yes, there's a lake. Who the hell was this player? Do you know who it is? And can you find out if you don't already know immediately?
Con, brother, I do not know, but now that you say that story, I will be boots on the ground, and I will find that answer for you, bro. Yes, and I will get that message passed to you. But what a story to have. That Super Bowl week, I get attacked by a coyote and live to tell the story.
Oh, so it's you. Hey, way to go,
wow.
Will.
Good work.
Way to go, Will. Did you kick it in the mouth? That's fantastic. Last question here for you as you're enjoying our set at rate. It's a nice set, right? It feels like it's a nice set.
Dude, they got you hooked up. You got a basketball goal right there. You got a little putt course. The couches look phenomenal. They're covered right now. The lights, like I told you, they're off, but you're in good hands for the rest of the week.
Yeah. What, did you just walk right in there? Is there anybody saying like, hey, don't go in there?
I'll show you. It's that old guy right there. Hey, you see that there's a rope, and I was kind of standing on the outside. He's like, hey, brother, you can't go in there. I was like, hey, listen, I know it's going to sound crazy. I was FaceTiming with Pat, and he was saying that I could come use the studio. And he's like, okay. We had to talk a little bit of wrestling. I was like, hey, how you feel about Roman Reigns, The Rock? Are you pissed off like everybody else?
Whoa.
Cody, finish
the story. How do you feel, Will? How do you feel about it?
Listen, I'm not I loved wrestling growing up. So The Rock, Stone Cold, it fired me up when that "if you smell" just comes out of nowhere. I'm electric. But reading all the comments, reading how massive it is, I'm not in a generation now to feel that strongly about Cody. What I do think happens is all that negativity is good negativity, and The Rock is so calculated. I saw he's already dropping another Under Armour line coming out.
Today?
The dude's just in there. Yeah, today. He knows what he's doing. He's going to play heel a little bit. People are pissed off. but I think it's good for the sport. It's bringing those generations that loved his time, like myself, back into the fold. Like, I kind of want to see what's going on. Everybody that hates him is going to continue to watch, so it's just going to grow it even more.
It has been a fascinating, like, social study because it is, like, generational now.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
It is like a generational type thing happening, and nothing's been made official yet, which I think was the big storyline last night. Like, when I got to Monday Night Raw, me and Cole were talking. I'm like, Friday was crazy. And Cole's like, nothing's been made official. I'm like, no, I saw it on the air. Everybody's pissed. He's like, nothing has been made. We have not said Thursday we're doing it. It's like, all right, well, everybody on earth was talking, Will. And the fact that The Rock is right in the middle of it is just obvious.
Classic.
That's
So
how
good.
it goes. Exactly. Last question here for you, Will. Ty, go ahead, pal.
Will, another team that you're a surefire, Ring of Honor member, Hall of Famer, the Washington Commanders. We saw recently you weighed in on the whole RG3 Jay Gruden situation, which was awesome. But now we're hearing Ben Johnson basically was supposed to potentially be the head coach there. He said, hey, listen, these are basketball guys in their front office, all right? They're not football guys. I don't want to be there. They hired Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury. Do you think the Commanders are one of those teams who are kind of just destined to be shitty forever once you left? And, do they have the right guys in place to turn things around, do you think?
Potentially. You guys know how this game works. Dan Quinn, I'm sure he'll get a couple years, tops, to see if it's going to be a program that's on the rise. But everything that I've heard about DQ, like when Shanahan, LaFleur was on that staff, Nick Williams, this little scrappy receiver, had all the intangibles in the slot. He was with the Falcons that I spent time with in Washington. And the way that they say, Dan ran the culture and everything else, a lot of Pete Carroll-esque. And they just talked about how the vibes all the time, like similar stuff, basketball go in, like the team's bought in. There's a theme of every day of the week. Like, I do think that they have a good guy at the head coaching helm. And as far as Ben Johnson, if you're a coordinator now and seeing the way the NFL is with not giving guys a lot of time, I saw Tony Dungy. He had a really good tweet, I think this morning or yesterday, about, hey, how about these coaches in their first 2 years? And they were abysmal. And he's like, we wouldn't have seen 9 of their Super Bowls had they have been ran like the way the NFL runs these coaches out these days. So I feel like when you're a coordinator and a promising looking one like Coach Ben Johnson with Detroit, you really want to pick the right situation. You don't just want to grab at anything. So I'm not saying that there's negative stuff surrounding Washington. That's always that potential. But at the same time, he's in such a good culture and such a good staff that, hey, wait for the perfect opportunity to go. Because Dan, all of them, he's competing with Coach Glenn with the DC on head coaching jobs. They're all talking. They're all supporting each other. So he's probably just waiting on the right opportunity to leave Detroit and go lead a football team.
The Raiders seemingly trying to change a little bit in it. They only offered Cliff Kingsbury, allegedly, from what we're hearing, a 2-year deal as opposed to the standard 3-year deal. And that's why he was with the Raiders. Now he's at the Commanders because the Commanders gave him a 3-year deal. But it makes sense to shorten with how everything is going. To your point, it's like if you don't fire a coach, the perceived notion to your fans who are very loud on social media is that you don't care. You don't want to win. But if you stick with them and build a little patience, maybe you'll win long term. But we don't got time for that, Will. We want to win right now, especially with these Houston Texans assholes doing what they did down there. Will, enjoy the hell out of the week, brother. We appreciate you stopping by.
Boys, I love you guys. Pat, thanks for having me. You guys are the best.
Hey, busting with the boys. When episodes drop when?
Every Tuesday. Today we're dropping at 6 p.m. Central, but usually in that evening slot, morning slot, Tuesday. We let you know. Follow us on Twitter, boys, at BustedWTB.
You're the man. Ladies and gentlemen, Will Compton.
Yeah, Will.
He said vibes are high on the ground.
Vibes. Love that.
Love that.
It feels like this generation handles things better than maybe in the past. Doesn't it?
In which way?
Just these younger,
more mature.
They seem more mature.
Really?
Just as adults. You don't think so?
How much younger are we talking about? What generation?
I don't know. We got whirly birds in the mirror, I guess, happening for.
Oh, baby, yeah. Baby elephant trunks.
Yeah.
Just looking for peanuts and water.
If that guy didn't already have it all, boy.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
What are you guys talking about?
They're screwing us all.
Anyways, but it just does feel like there's a much more mature crowd, doesn't it? It feels like these younger guys are more mature now. They don't go out. It feels like they're all very comfortable. Brock Purdy has handled everything. Now, he might just be an anomaly, obviously. We've been saying that he is an anomaly and should be treated as such. But last night, felt like there was good vibes. Felt like everybody was kind of loose. Everybody was happy. Patrick Mahomes had to handle some tough questions. Didn't matter. He's 28 years old, already in a GOAT conversation. It's like, The state of the NFL feels like a very mature state right now.
When you word it that way, when you're talking about the young professional athletes, I think you are correct. I think they are more mature now and more. I'd say they're more prepared for what they're going into.
Yeah, they're treated
before.
like professionals, almost as like high schoolers.
Like last night, Purdy was asked. Somebody asked, like, "Do you know the 6 or 7 quarterbacks taken in front of you in the draft?" And he was like, "No, I don't operate like that. I was the last pick in the draft because." That's just kind of what I earned, and that's kind of my destiny. I was like, well, that was a very mature answer of him, and that's not something our generation I think would have done. Like we would have known every single person's name, where they were from, why we were better than them in our mind, stuff like that. But Purdy was like, nah, I don't care. I mean, I was drafted there because I was drafted there.
Yeah, it feels like cliche answers are always going to be a part of it, but there's like new cliche answers. There's like new ways for these guys to answer things to seem more professional. I love it. Like I genuinely, like all the clips I saw from last night, I enjoy the fact that the NFL makes that a big deal. That wasn't always a big deal. Whenever we went, it was in a conference or in a convention center, and it was during the day. It wasn't like a thing, and obviously nobody had a clue who I was. I was just walking around. Now there's entrances and announcements, and Buffer was doing this entire thing.
Sweet.
They let everybody in, crowds in there. Obviously, the Niners faithful were very loud in there. It's like I enjoy that everything is made into a thing because it's the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like this is the Super Bowl. This is what we want everybody to want to get to. This is the crown jewel. This is everything. I'm happy it's being treated as such.
I think it also obviously just speaks to how popular the NFL is now. You know, like when you were in the Super Bowl, that's one thing, but even 11, 12 years later, like that's how much the NFL has grown over that time, where the opening night is you got all these people coming out banging on drums like it's the opening ceremony of the Olympics. And then in terms of like the players, I think Twitter probably has a lot, at least for the younger guys, has something to do with that, because at this point, like you've seen and heard everything. You know, like, and you can formulate your own response to how you would respond to stuff when you have people just constantly ripping you down and talking shit or saying different things. Like it's almost like having to deal with all that kind of stuff. It kind of forces a lot of these guys, I'm sure, to mature much earlier than previous generations had to.
I couldn't handle some of the things that are said about these people at the age that they are. Just think about me going, well, I got to respond to everybody. Oh, what was that? What was that? You said what?
It was a lot.
At that age, it would have been impossible.
It was rough on X. Like, if you search your name, or especially playing corner, you know, and everybody's an expert. You give up a touchdown, you miss a tackle. Like, it's not like, you know, you're a D lineman, it's a 5-7 yard game. Like, it's probably 50, 60 yards. So, yeah, you got to be callous for sure. I know the demo probably is more, you know, TikTok, and so it's instant, it's quick, Instagram. I know kind of our generation is more like the Twitter generation, but yeah, it's a lot they got to deal with on a daily basis.
Yeah, and also you got commentators blaming people that make it's not the fault of.
Yeah,
sure.
Everybody's an expert now.
You have a pretty good game. You go into your locker, you open your phone. That was a safe. What are we even?
Yes, I played like
that
shit.
was not me. That was the safety. But now, are you going to go bury your teammate?
Can't do it.
Can't do it?
Nope. Can't do it.
Oh, so I just got to take this and move on. It comes with the job. Speaking of coming with the job, Roger Goodell has to answer some tough questions every once in a while. Last night, he spoke at length. Okay, this is a long answer. And we debated on whether or not we're going to run 4 minutes of Roger Goodell talking.
Yes, we did.
Okay, we certainly large conversation about it before the show started. But he talked about the future of watching the NFL. And the question basically was, forcing your fans to watch a playoff game on Peacock was obviously a massive topic of conversation going in. People weren't happy. What are your thoughts on that and the future? Roger Goodell lays out a very sound answer about tomorrow, today, and trying to balance the both of them while being the hottest thing in any town that the NFL's in.
Well, Sam, I think you first have to back up a little bit and sort of understand where the media landscape is going. It's changing faster and deeper. Consumers are moving off of paid television services and going into digital streaming services and platforms. And we as the NFL have to be able to reach our fans there. One of the most positive things about the Peacock game was not just the fact that it outdrew the broadcast audience a year earlier in the same window. So people went there, experienced it. It worked technically in an incredible way, and our partners at Peacock and NBC, we give a lot of credit to them for that. But it also reduced our average age of the audience by almost 10 years.
Is that good, he said?
So youth audiences are going to those platforms and those apps, and we have to make sure our content is there. We still have over 90% of our games on free television. No other league, no other sports comes close to that. When we were in the 80s, when we moved to ESPN and we went behind to pay TV, there was the same outcry. But what we did is we created a platform that fans can engage with, have access to, that is actually beneficial to the consumers because that's where they are. We have to fish where the fish are, and we have a lot of consumers that are on those platforms. And Peacock Games showed that. Amazon showed that over the last 2 years. Their ratings were up 24% this year. We saw it with YouTube in our Sunday ticket package, double the number of subscribers. So our fans are on these platforms. Our fans want to access them. The technology is extraordinary. You can do things on some of these platforms that you can't do on a linear platform. So for us, it's part of the future. I don't know where it goes from here, but we're going to continue to reach our fans where they are with the best possible production, the best possible technology.
Just to follow up on Sam, I get the question often lately, could we see a streaming Super Bowl in the future?
Certainly not in my time. I still believe, and even on some of the pay services, listen, one of the secrets of our success is we are really committed to broadcast television. As I said, 90% of our games are on broadcast and free over-the-air television. I think it's the reason why you will see over 200 million people watch this game.
What's that?
Here in the United States, because it's on broadcast television and the broadest possible platform. And our credit to CBS, they've built a great platform for us. But there's also a digital stream of Paramount Plus. And we want to support that because there are some fans that are watching on Paramount Plus a lot. So I think it's, again, we'll see Super Bowl continue to be on the broadest platform. I think we'll continue to see the NFL on the broadest possible platform. 23 million people watched that wild card game.
By the way, following up on the question about the Peacock, I guess for the average person, how much money is too much money for the NFL to try to get out of the little man?
Well, this is developing platforms. Just to be clear, this is developing a platform that a lot of consumers are on. A lot of our fans are moving in that direction. They're not just getting an NFL game; they're getting, a value in the sense of $5.99. I think it was for a month of the service, and they could get it for $30, $29.99 for a year. That's entertainment. That's where people are going, right? They're looking for those opportunities to expand on the amount of content they can acquire through these platforms. That's ultimately good for the consumers, but it's important for us to be on those platforms because that's where consumers are, particularly the younger demographic.
Great follow-up there, Hey, how much is enough money?
Come on.
Okay, aren't we sick of it? I appreciate him asking that question. And then I appreciate Roger at the end of that not saying any more brain busters as I do this entire thing. Anytime he speaks, we learn stuff. Him saying 23 million people watch on Peacock is also him publicly negotiating with Apple in the future and Google in the future. He talked about Amazon being up 24%. That was a direct message to Bezos saying, see, we are the ones that will drive these platforms that you're trying to build. The big stat, though, and he hit on it again at the end. 10 years younger was the average demo for the people that were watching on Peacock, which is more than a year before the entire audience. Huge. So it seems like all the people that are bitching about it don't actually follow through with what they're bitching about. But also it doesn't seem to be a problem for the next generation of fans, which is all any business is seemingly trying to attract. Now, you can't run away your core though, and it feels like he thinks with the numbers he's seeing, he's not doing that while attracting a younger brand. It's like everything they're doing, the NFL, it seems to be hitting home run, home run, home run, when everybody else is plateauing or going down. That's what I heard there.
Yeah, and like the younger generation growing completely outweighs the older generation maybe falling off. Like, sure, it's a bummer if there are, the 70-plus senior citizens, if you will, that can't get onto Peacock.
But they can get on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think is what everybody's saying.
It's a challenge.
But
it's the challenge.
not.
But it's kind of
But a
it's a
lot of
win-win though, because like in my house, my kids, like I'm the only person in the house that watches cable television. Like everything else is a streaming service that I've had to download already. So if I'm going to watch football on it, the kids are going to use Peacock or use Disney Plus, whatever it's going to be on anyway. So and that's like our generation, 30s, 40s. So that demo's not going anywhere. But it is important to get that younger demo because it's hard to keep intention for 2 minutes, let alone 3 hours for these kids to watch these live games. And we've seen the ratings. Football, like live sports in general, is what's keeping linear cable alive right now. So I see what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, in football, NFL is
king.
Pro Bowl the Pro Bowl games that everybody hates. Not everybody. We didn't mind it.
Yeah,
that was pretty entertaining. Actually watched it. There was some stuff that was certainly corny.
Sure,
it outdrew pretty much everything else.
Yeah.
And the NFL knows that that's what they're doing. And you can't run away the people that can't afford, right, these new streaming platforms. But I think what Roger Goodell was saying is we're being told that these people are already, when $5.99 back in the day for something that was added to a family that was living paycheck to paycheck, there's people that would say no. Nowadays, somehow, I don't know how it works, but seemingly everything's more expensive, seemingly impossible to have, but everybody has it. I don't understand how any of it works. And I think that's what Roger Goodell's saying is like our fears of maybe driving away people that wouldn't be able to afford that were not substantial fears. The number was up from last year, and the people that were in were the same people that were in whenever it was on television, which, by the way, you have to pay for a service to get that type of thing. It's all very interesting happening in real time, this transition to streaming and digital while linear television exists. We're kind of in the middle of it as well. With what we're doing at a much smaller level. In the reporting of what's on this, what's on YouTube, what's on TikTok Live, what's on ESPN Linear, and all that. How do you market that? How do you sell that? How do you balance all that? How do you do that? It's like the NFL is doing that on the biggest of possible stages, bigger than anybody else, and almost kicking the door down to what tomorrow looks like for the rest of seemingly the business.
Well, and I think that's an important and interesting distinction that like a lot of people forget about is like all these other sports leagues who most of their games are on ESPN or TBS or TNT or whatever. Like you do have to, every NFL game is either on Fox, NBC, or CBS, which is like you can get that with an antenna. You don't have to have cable. Like I mean, you obviously know that, but you don't think about that. Like, you don't have to pay for a cable package to watch 95% of NFL games. It's just these, Thursday nights and then the one playoff game on Peacock or whatever, and a couple of the games that are overseas on ESPN. But like the majority of their games are free for the public.
200 million.
For sure.
It's a wild number. In America, it's a wild
let alone the global
That's
audience.
a shocking number, and like I'd be shocked if it got there, but Roger didn't say that for shits and gigs. Like he's like you said earlier.
Shits and gigs.
Like you said earlier, like he's not throwing out that 200 number and it comes in at 170 and then like what happened?
Yeah, Roger Goodell talked about a lot of things. He also talked about the refs and kickoffs. Let's start with the kickoff rule because he's not just talking about kickoffs anymore. No. He brought in another play that is very near and dear to this particular program's heart.
We said last year, first off, as you know, this was a one-year rule.
Fair catches and kickoffs.
For me, I thought this rule was necessary for the 1 year because we need to innovate. We need to work with our coaches and our competition committee and those across the league to find a way to keep the kickoff in the game. It's an exciting play. It's important for us. The same for punts. But when you see a higher injury rate for that play, you can't ignore that. And we haven't yet found that solution. And I think we've proven
tread lightly, Raj.
over the last several years, you can make the game safer and more exciting at the same time. And that's our objective here. And I'm confident we'll get to that. It's going to take a little work, but this is a one-year rule, so I hope that will be a major focus this spring.
Uh-oh.
Punts might be going bye-bye.
Why is he saying that?
Good run, punts.
This guy is calculated, cerebral.
Yeah.
Every word is thought out, and there's a reason for everything he says. It's planting a seed for what the future holds. If you were to go back years and years ago at this press conference, he chit-chatted about sports gambling, potentially leading to people talking about, that muff kick must have been on purpose and scripting. Roger Goodell plants seeds for the future with everything he says, kind of delivers it and goes, what's your response to that? Don't love that he snuck punt into that thing. Hey, Raj! I don't like that what you did for the kickoff made it less exciting and less important and potentially took jobs away from special teamers around the NFL and strategy and scheme and football IQ removed. Just eliminating a play that could change a game on its head, change an environment, change a city, change a trajectory, change a city.
Yeah.
But now he's adding another one.
That's right.
Can't have it, Raj. Raj, the punt, too damn important in football. Ask Jim Tressel. Most important play in football. Ask anybody that has been around football. What's the first meeting of the day? Special teams. What's the first thing we're going through? Punt. The football game is a game of territory. The punt is a way to say, yeah, we might not have got it, but we're gaining territory in this entire thing. There's strategy involved in it. It's a massive piece of how you put together a game plan. Field position matters. It's the third most important stat behind score, most important stat.
Sure.
Sometimes.
Turnovers, pretty important stat. And then field position, who won it? Normally, because of special teams, is an indicator on who won the game. We can't be getting rid of it, Darius.
Can't do it. First play of defense.
Why is he doing that?
Can't do it. And what can you replace it with? What can you replace the punt with? Like 4th down, your 4th and 8? What do you?
I've never seen an injury on punt either, by the way.
They
I think Raj is making stuff up.
They happen.
Yeah. There's certainly an opportunity for some big time plays to be made, but everybody that's playing on the punt play signs up for that. They know exactly what they're signing up for, which has been a big part of the discussion for all of us that are former players. Now, granted, they did get a massive lawsuit smacked against them.
Sure.
About CTE and Tell the Truth, Dr. Will Smith.
Right, they changed.
And the entire thing like that. And they changed rules and tried to get better. And it started this conversation about we got to make the game this, we got this many practices, we got to change the way the hits are over the middle, to the game that we see right now that he alluded to, where you can make the game safer and more explosive and exciting. And he basically said, we're trying to do that to the kickoff right now. It's like, how about we just get the guys that go on kickoff as they're going on the field, just sign with their blood. You can even print and just say, yep, I'm cool with it, whatever, and go out there. Because the kickoff is football. The punt is football. We need to keep football, and we can't just say, well, there's going to be injuries. No shit, it's football. There's a chance collisions are going to take place. There's a chance people are going to be off balance. There's high speed. There's action. That's why 200 million people are going to watch the game, Raj. I have nothing but respect for Roger Goodell's brain and what he's done for the NFL. He's made mistakes, sure. Has he screwed over a bunch of teams with punishments that aren't fair for them, and would he give it to other teams? Who knows? He's a commissioner of a league. He's going to be hated by everybody at some point in time because of a decision he's going to have to make. And I understand he's just a shield for 31 billionaires and one publicly owned team, but just adding the punt in there, slow down, Raj, okay? Before you eliminate the kickoff, let's stop with that, but let's not even start setting our sights on another position that we're trying to eliminate from the damn game time.
I mean, football's 3 phases, and we're slowly just eliminating one phase.
Can't have it.
Can't have it.
What are we doing?
People aren't just taking dumps anymore when the punt plays happen.
No.
Well,
okay.
Unfortunately,
I mean,
it looks like they're partnering with the toilet paper company because it sure seems like they want people to take dumps during the punts and kickoffs. I'm sorry, but that's just a reality, and we're probably 2, 3, maybe 1 year away.
People used to go take pees whenever the kickoff was taking place. When the punts were happening.
They want that back.
They don't do it anymore. It's exciting. It's fun. It's a big play.
He's trying to save the game, Pat. Because look,
game
as violent as it is, concussions, all these things, a lot of people are saying, hey, I'm not going to let my kid play football.
In what cities?
Football.
Where?
It's happening.
Florida.
Where?
Maybe
Not
flag.
Florida.
Where? Pittsburgh? It ain't happening in Pittsburgh.
Florida, that's the Mecca. We will.
Well, it's not happening in Pittsburgh. It's not going to happen in Florida.
Maybe those states don't need to play football.
What's that?
Maybe those states don't need to play football.
Yeah, we don't want
Bingo.
None of their people come from there anyways.
Don't play. We don't need that on this program.
No, we don't.
Well, unless you feel that way.
I love the 4th down arm.
If you feel that way, you should say what you say. What you mean. Say
what you say.
Say what you mean.
Say what you say.
Say what you mean to say. Say what you mean to say. And what I mean to say, Raj, is with all due respect, stop it. Okay?
Knock it off.
Just go ahead and start talking about streaming again, and maybe let's go to work on the kickoff, because we ain't doing that Bush League XFL thing either, and we're not doing spring football punts where the punter goes out and there's no coverage. It's like, let's keep football a little bit. But I understand we got to transform and evolve as more stats are presented, but let's keep the game that we love, for the reason that we love it, as we're growing around the globe because of how good the game is.
Here, here.
Has the punt not helped grow the game in Australia?
Here. Yeah, bingo. Here. Rest in peace, Toby Keith. You're a damn good American. Cheers to football and Super Bowl week. I appreciate you all. Cheers.
Cheers. Love you, Toby.
Love you, Toby.
Miss you, Toby.
Too early for booze, for sure, but we'll be back in hour 2 on the other side. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. now is a man who will be compared to forever whenever they're talking about GOAT conversations in the sport of football. That's because he won 7 Super Bowls, was consistently dominant for more than 2 decades at football. Ridiculously handsome. So absurdly handsome. An underdog story, too, picked at 199 of the NFL draft. Not a top 5 pick, not handed anything. And then what did he do? He went to work, did his job, became the greatest of all time, and now a phenomenal businessman and a great representation of the greatest league on earth. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Brady. Hell yeah,
What's
dude.
up, my man?
Tom, I thought this was all potential gimmick rip. I didn't know if you were actually on the show. I'm so pumped you were here. Hey, we love you, dude. We love you, Tom.
I appreciate it.
When you're 40 years old and you've won 6 Super Bowls and you're already being called the GOAT, was there anything to you getting to the point of just being, I'm tired of Bill Belichick talking to me like I'm a 23-year-old? Because that was kind of the lingering at the end of your time at New England.
There was so much people just trying to create some division that most of it was untrue, but it's just the way the world works. And naturally, I think division from within is a big problem in these team environments. And I don't like seeing any dysfunction in team environments. Obviously, my respect for Coach Belichick is pretty well documented. He was an incredible leader and coach for our team. And I tried to do my best every single day that I took the field. I knew that he did the same thing. And I think that's why I respected his coaching so much.
But whenever they talk about the Patriot way, that is normally the reason that is given is like the Patriot way, the Patriot way, the Patriot way.
I've never used that term in my entire life. I think when people say it, I'm always like, what's the Patriot way? It sounds like the title of a book. I think what we tried to do was we tried to do things the right way. I think we tried to practice the right way and prepare the right way. What happened on game day was ultimately a reflection of what we practiced. And I thought we had great leadership from our coaches, and it filtered down to the guys who really drove the culture. We had so many guys that I played with over the course of a lot of years that really understood that, okay, I'm going to care about my teammates and I'm going to care about helping the team win.
There's a guy on our show who is diehard Patriot fan. Boston Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Tommy, I have to.
What's up, Boston?
I have to start and just say thank you. You know, my whole life has been incredible because of the fact that you have won 6 Super Bowls. And, you know, I'm a loser every day, but I'm a winner as a football fan because of you and what the Patriots were able to do. So thank you. What do you think the new era of New England with Mayo is going to be?
Him coming back into coaching, I think is great for the NFL and certainly great for the Patriots. He's got a great understanding of how things need to be done. I think Gerard does an incredible job relating to everybody in the locker room, all the coaches, and I think he'll do a great job.
Going into the booth, are you utilizing the same thing, hearing what people are saying about you going in there? And how do you balance that while still being a human?
The broadcast going to be 5 years from now is going to be hopefully more improved than the one that starts on day one. So I'm going to go in there with the opportunity to start and learn, and I'm sure by the end of the year I'll feel more comfortable. I really want to be a great ambassador for the NFL and the game. I love the sport. I love the athletes. I love the organizations, and I really appreciate how challenging it is to get there, again, like
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey,
What?
let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for. The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, you pig!
Damn it!
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Sport!
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on the Super Bowl 58 Tuesday, February 6, 2024. Hour 2 of the program starts now.
Football
is wonderful. We're lucky to talk about it every single day, especially on this glorious Super Bowl 58 week. The city behind me is Indianapolis, but we'll be traveling to Las Vegas to join everybody at Radio Row as the intensity and the attention magnifies on Sin City as we crown the 2023-2024 Super Bowl champion just days from now. The Talks Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One half of the Hammer,
Dahn.
Cowboys 10 Diggs is here. You look good, pal.
Thank you. I appreciate that love in that shirt today.
Hey, it's not bad. You know, a little bit of a zipper. The wife bought it for me. You know, it makes me look a little professional. But how could you not dress a little bit like a paisano whenever you're heading to Las Vegas, Sin City? We're going to be meeting up with Chuck Pagano, running into all his old friends.
Oh, yeah.
Very old.
Hey, we got What's your problem?
I had to throw it in there.
We're supposed to have good vibes. Remember, we're going to Vegas. We're trying to win.
Are they not very old friends?
We have not met any of them, but I assume with the way he's been speaking about some of these places we're going to, I've known Johnny since whatever. We're going into a small little room, smoking a cigar, coming out the other side. I assume there's going to be a slot machine down there. We're definitely going to win. We're going to stop by the blackjack tables. How we doing? Well, we're like Uncle Dana White. We're hitting when we're supposed to. We're going staying when we're not supposed to have to.
What?
We got hands behind the backs. We're reading the cards. We're winning. Then we're walking right over the craps table. A little bit boozed up.
What?
Yep.
A little bit boozed up at this point.
What?
A couple cigars have already been smoked by a few people.
What?
People are feeling out on cloud 9, cloud 10,
What?
maybe 100 to 150 milligrams of edibles
Yeah.
in a couple of different guys. We take over a table, and guess what the dice do? They dance for us
Seven.
for the next hour and a half.
whoa.
All the while, Chuck Pagano, hey, first roll is 7, all
roll.
good.
Okay.
7-11, keep it going. You roll 7, actually, you can win us a
got
lot of
that
money.
die?
We just need to know what's potentially coming after you get a point. But all I'm saying is, what's about to happen in the next few days, we need to be pumped up about.
So jacked.
So lucky to be a part of it all. And joining us now is a man who's golfing with Dustin Johnson and Bryson DeChambeau. Let's
go.
What? Ladies and gentlemen, 9-year NFL vet, Darius J. Butler.
What? You are?
I just talked about what we're going to be doing with Chuck Pagano.
Couple
This dude's
major-
golfing with Dustin Johnson and
major
DeChambeau
champions.
tomorrow.
I will not let the program down.
Don't embarrass the program.
I
It's
will
rule
not.
number 1
I
through
will not.
10
Yep.
about the program.
Always.
Don't embarrass the program
I'm
tomorrow.
going to do it. Show up.
Ty was talking about potential strategies on the course with Dustin Johnson, long ball hitter, DeChambeau, legendary long ball hitter, and then Darius Butler's going to have to tee off directly after or before both of them.
Yep.
Ty, you're thinking maybe he should deploy a different tactic.
Yeah, absolutely. Right when you get there, you guys are out on the driving range, and you tell them how hey, you just got a new driver, right?
Yep.
You just got a new bat, and you tell them, hey, all week, actually the last couple weeks, I've been hitting this thing 350, 375,
Easily.
straight as an arrow. Now, you get out to the first tee. You maybe duck hook one and hit it about 160 yards.
You Tom Brady one.
Exactly,
Yeah.
top one.
Yeah.
And then
Will be my first time hitting with some people. I expect some people.
Okay.
Buddy,
Yeah,
I've done it a few times.
And that's fine.
Those people signed up to stand there.
Okay.
Not your
Absolutely.
fault.
Okay.
Not
Absolutely.
your fault.
What do you
You
think
got to
about
get that mindset in your. Because you first couple times you're standing there, you're like, you should not.
They sound waivers, right?
I don't think
No.
they do.
No, you
It's just
just
it
know.
comes with it. It's
Yeah.
like football with the
Inherent risk.
kickoff and
Right.
the punt play.
Okay.
Like you just know what's possible. But it's going to be hard for you for the first 7 holes not to be like you shouldn't stand there. You should, and they're not going to all move though. That's just how it is.
That's my miss right there, guys. Like right. Bow.
Oh, you know what your miss is?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Even
perfect.
more so.
Exactly. So let's say you don't bomb it 375, 380 down the middle of the fairway, and you just tell them every single tee box. Man, I never hit it this bad ever. I've been so good the last 3 weeks to a month. I never play. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Just lie right to their face.
Exactly.
They
On
won't know.
repeat, every single tee box you have to take.
Is
the
it a
driver
scramble
out.
or are you
They
playing your own
probably-
ball or what's going
No
on?
clue.
Definitely not your own
I
ball.
like going to a blind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going to a
The
blind.
fact that we
Figure
just
out.
learned that you're playing with. When did you find out you're playing with DJ and D-Shit?
I was talking to you about it a couple of weeks ago. I actually found out I was paired with them 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago.
Okay.
Good
Have you done
parent.
a little research for good conversation? What are your thoughts? You just going in there blind?
I've been following golf for a couple of years, and I know these guys. I've
Absolutely.
been following.
Yeah.
Liv,
Are you
so,
going to get
yeah.
a apology from Bryson DeChambeau about 9/11, like CNN tried to get?
What happened? Oh, you're talking about whenever Live started?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the Live event out there in Vegas. It feels like the smart play for them to have the event.
For sure.
During Super Bowl week. We will not be able to stop by, maybe catch a tail. Yes, we could potentially catch a tail end of your round of golf with them.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
can't wait to see you be a scratch golfer by hole 12.
Oh,
With how
by hole 12, I expect to be 10 times the golfer I am.
Yeah, with how athletic Darius is and how quickly he picks
And
things
those
up.
two.
Yeah.
And those two helping him. DeChambeau obviously on the driver. And then Dustin Johnson with being super cool while you walk and doing everything else. You might be a scratch golfer by the end of the day tomorrow. Let's go. That's another thing to be excited about. Good for you. Is Live televised?
That
Yes.
won't be.
That
actually.
would- the pro and probably.
They actually, it is televised. The ratings came out though. Oh boy.
Well, we've been asking if it's on TV, so that's not good for ratings, I assume.
Yeah. Not
If we're like, can we find it? We can't. We're looking for it. Where is it? Can't find it. 400 and some thousand I saw.
Yeah, it turns out pickleball outdrew it on Sunday.
Well, that's America. That's America's sport.
Yeah, pickleball's easy to find.
That's American
Pickleball's
sport.
already into people's repertoire because
guess.
McEnroe did his thing.
I guess. Also, third round of the Pebble Beach tournament, I believe 11x'd the
been around for a while.
Yeah, it's only 30 years, 40
Yeah, no,
seconds.
I agree. Let's get it off the CW and let's get it somewhere people can find it.
Joining us now is a man who's never been on CW, but he has certainly been seen by millions and millions millions of people who decide to make him memes and say other stuff because of how handsome he is and how great his jawline is. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of Ohio, the all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, COVID survivor, father of 10.
Wow.
AJ Hawk.
Yeah,
Hawker, DJ and DeChambeau got a chance to golf with Darius J. Butler tomorrow. How jacked up should they be?
I mean, that would be unbelievable. Now, I don't know if you should go with Ty's advice because I believe every single pro-am these guys have ever played in, every single amateur has told them, I never play like this. I never play this bad. I'm normally 16 shots better than this because I know I've played with multiple people in outings where they all tell me that. And I say, no, this is how I play. Like I could get a 10 on this hole or I could somehow get a par on the next hole. Like it's up and down roller coaster all day long.
Yeah, but that's not how AJ plays. AJ will never score a 10. AJ Hawk is a stick whenever it comes to golf. Also, blessed by the golf gods more than any other person that I've ever seen hit a golf ball.
Good bounces.
Great. Not just good.
The best.
The best bounces I've ever seen.
Crazy.
We'll go into the woods, and there'll be, let's say, 1,000 trees.
Scramble. I like to scramble.
Let's say there's
I like to punch out.
1,000 trees. And somehow, not a single tree, there's been hundreds of years these trees have been born and planted and growing. Somehow, a direct path the size of an F-250 right to the hole. Just like almost as if the trees are a funnel to the hole somehow. That's 6 of the holes out of 18 of them. And then he'll hit it. He'll bounce off of like a sprinkler head.
Yeah.
Off the green, and it'll get it over like a sand trap onto the green and roll to like 4 feet. It's absurd. He missed the rough. Somehow hit a rock out of the rough into the fairway. It's every hole. It is. I think you're living right. I think it's because you're living right.
Yeah, what's going on? Positive mindset.
Scrambler. I'm a scrambler. It's tough to, if you hit a drive in the middle of the fairway and you have like 115 in, let's just take a nice little wedge. It's easy to chunk those suckers or to blade them 200 yards over the green. So, yeah, I like to scramble.
Yeah, but you blade it over the green, it'll hit a tree, and it'll actually come back onto the green.
Hopefully.
And guys that swing as hard as AJ should not have hands as soft as AJ. He's so good in the bunkers, around the greens, and he'll drain a 50-footer on the first hole right in the morning. It's
right in your face.
Unbelievable.
He is a legit. This is for shoot, just like you though. Like you're great. Have you ever played with one of these pros? I don't think other than John Daly. I played with John a couple times.
Yep.
His hand's phenomenal, and obviously what he's able to do, you look at it, you're like, wow, I would never be able to figure that out. You played in the Ryder Cup, I guess. You played with a bunch of pros. Do they make you better? Like, is Darius going to be a better golfer by the end of the round tomorrow, or no?
I would imagine he would. I would imagine the guys would give him little pointers on, like, putting the ball in the front of your stance, back of your stance, those little things. But also, like, he can get too many thoughts. I don't like to have any swing thoughts in my head. So, like, I know at least when I get, like, I have enough confidence in what I can do. I can figure it out. I don't need you telling me to come out of the pocket or that I'm coming over the top. I don't know what any of that
he's
stuff
more
means.
cerebral.
I just want to swing.
I don't need DeChambeau telling me how to golf.
Please.
I would love it. No, I would take their advice. I've just never played with a pro. I've never actually played around with a real pro.
Me neither. That's what I don't know how it's going to go. I don't think, because me and John, when we played, like, you think John Daly
vibes.
You like we did have a beer a hole, a shot a hole. I think he smoked a cig and I smoked a cone.
Good music. Who had the aux?
He just made fun of us the whole time.
The whole time.
No tips.
He called us sloppy and all that stuff. And I'd ask him a question and he'd say, you just got to swing it, babe. You know, grip it and rip it.
That's
that
a good
thing.
tip.
But we're getting like really boozed. Like I was getting very intoxicated. I was barefooting that entire time. And I don't think we've ever lost, by the way. I think we won as a group. It was like a scramble situation. Is that how it's going to be tomorrow? Is it good times? Have you ever seen one of these? What is the expectation?
Well, the only time I saw pro golfers was when I went to their championship last year, and I was following DJ and Phil, and they were just super locked in, like not talking to anybody, locked in. DJ plays kind of, fast. He gets to his ball. Phil goes through a lot more shit. So I'm not sure how it's going to go. I'm sure it'll be much more laid back since it's a pro-am and there'll be other people out there. So I definitely will be. I'm one of those guys that's like, cause I know you're not supposed to give unsolicited advice or whatever, but I'm one of those guys, hey, especially if I'm playing with good guys, hey, if you see something, let me know. I'm all ears, trying to learn, still new at the game. But, most importantly, I'm going to have fun and definitely learn. I feel like watching will be the most important part. Like, I can see that shit up close and just try to, mimic as best as I can.
It's a live pro-am in Vegas. I would imagine they're going to embrace it. It's going to be a good time.
Party holes playing about 150. So I feel good about that.
Have you got some swings up here?
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday, I saw you with the glove.
Yeah, the glove.
Yeah. Went right to work.
Yeah.
Went right to work.
Well, good luck tomorrow. The boys in the Super Bowl went to work last night, kind of setting the tone for the entire Super Bowl week. I appreciated the fact that it was a big deal. The fans were there. Here's Chris Jones yelling over top of the San Francisco 49ers fans and also showcasing this kind of villain heel mentality that the Kansas City Chiefs have kind of earned over the last year.
In Spaz we trust, baby! Let's go, KC! In Spaz we trust!
Doesn't it feel like, okay, they're the underdogs. They're getting booed out of the press week.
Yep.
Everybody hates them. Doesn't this feel like everything you would want if you're Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs going into the Super Bowl, AJ?
Yeah, it makes me think of Nick Saban when his Alabama teams are rolling and he talks about the rat poison when everyone's telling you how great you are and, hey, this is the expectations. Yeah, you're supposed to win by 30. Andy Reid, he didn't have to do anything. It all kind of happened naturally to where they've won so much to where they've gotten to that point where they are the villains and they love it, man. Like when Kelsey takes that nice little pause when he hears the boos and then comes back at him, these guys know what they're doing. They're absolutely thriving, I think, in this role.
Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes. Here's a clip from him last night in the media day to kick off the Super Bowl, basically understanding that he's going to get booed and embracing it.
We're playing a great 49ers team, but we're going to go out there, play our best football, and see what happens. I appreciate it, Niners Nation. We're here.
Oh, the Hulk Hogan.
Niners fans, he's calling you out.
What?
Oh, yeah.
What? Oh, jeez, what? What? Is what he said. Gave cliche answer at the beginning. And he said, oh, yeah, Niners fans, we here. What? Everything about it seems like the Kansas City Chiefs have talked about this. They understand it. They embrace it. They love it. And this is all just feeding them. Now, I love this Niners team as well. Let's not get crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they've had a lot of things said about them. But when you think about what this team is made of, the humans they're made of, all this shit is just only making them better. And they're growing stronger almost seemingly from this deep.
And it's loud. And Patrick, we know the competitor he is, but it seems like he's had to almost look for this, throughout his career because it's been, what did he start, 50 touchdowns, MVP out of the gate, been to 4 Super Bowls. It's his 4th Super Bowl now, so now it's just right there in his face. And all year long, from the beginning, people kind of been counting him out. It's not looking the same. The offense isn't clicking. Defense is good, but is Travis Kelce too old? And now playoff whole time. Underdogs on the road, and now once again still an underdog in the Super Bowl against Brock Purdy's been phenomenal. Second-year quarterback, great team, but Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, they got to feel some type of way.
For all the things that are said about Brock Purdy by humans, on the internet and stuff, sports books don't feel that way. He's favored over Patrick Mahomes in the NFL, and I know it's just the team, but it's also quarterback touches the ball every single play. Brock Purdy favored in the biggest game against a guy who's already done it multiple times.
He is favored. The Niners are favored, and the Dogs are on quite a run. The Dogs are on a 16-6 against the spread run, and then when you look
in
at
the Super Bowl,
16-6 ATS run in the Super Bowl, and then when you look at the higher seed and better record, which the Niners have the higher seed and the better record. The higher seed is on a 2-15-2 against the spread run. Okay, so
why is that?
I don't know. And the team with a better record is on a 1-15 against the spread run in the Super Bowl.
AJ, why is that? And what the hell does that mean to you, pal?
I don't know what that Okay, I would be curious though. With against the spread, yes. What 2-15? How about winning the game? How many of those underdogs?
Okay, so if you put it that way, the winner. In all Super Bowls is 47-7-3 against the spread. So if they win, they're going to cover.
Damn.
So in that situation, that's for the Dogs too. But
obviously not the entire time. There's 7 there, so you have to affect for that cause for that. But Dogs seem to be the hungrier one in the Super Bowl, or the ones that get it done. I don't know. AFC, NFC strength of conferences probably a part of that as well. Maybe teams that are more battle tested have more losses, so they don't have as many wins or as high of a seed. But they've also been there, done that with more teams, and had to get exposed.
Or teams like his Packers team, the Giants teams. There's been Steelers teams where they we talk about all the time, there's these teams, and we talked about it could have been the Bills this year, where they go on these runs at the end. Maybe they aren't the greatest during the middle of the season, but then they go on these runs and they get hot at the end of the season. And
momentum.
They make these,
Momentum's a big part.
Injuries. It's not real, right?
Whoa.
That's some wild
Well,
stats.
for real though, these analytics situation though, do they truly say momentum is not a part of anything?
Well, not everybody. I assume not all of them, but it's not right there in front of you. You know, it's hard for. You can't quantify momentum, I guess, except for the final score that ends up happening, or teams getting hot and going on a run through the playoffs into the Super Bowl, and that being a massive advantage of when you're hot, how you're hot.
Well, and like just to that point too, like the timing of injuries and like the timing of when these teams, you know, are off to their starts. Like the Chiefs didn't have Chris Jones the first few weeks of the season, and they obviously
he was in the suite.
Yeah, yeah. With his boys.
Do you remember that?
The Katz brothers.
Mm-hmm. He was in the suite for the first week of that game, kicking it off there for Banner Night, but not on the field. And they lose to the Lions. And remember, that was the brand new Lions. Here we are. This thing's going to go on a run. The Chiefs have been counted out so many times this year. Yeah. So many times. They're dead. They're dead. The Chiefs are still the Chiefs, some of us said, throughout a lot of it. Now, even the most loyal supporters of the Chiefs maybe lost a little bit of hope at the end there against Baltimore. But it's like now they're being hated because they're too successful. But during the year, they weren't good to be talked about as a successful team. It's just something about success that breeds a little bit of hate, and it feels like the Chiefs have a lot of that.
Yeah, then obviously Taylor Swift, you know, is a huge part of this as well.
What are you talking about?
I mean, you know,
You're not saying
people get tired of
for the
negative. I feel like
Which way?
the hate of the Chiefs. You're saying
Absolutely,
it adds a ton. Yeah.
Well, Roger Goodell actually answered some questions about Taylor Swift last night and the entire Swift effect during his press conference. That was a little bit different than they have been in the past. Invite only earlier in the week. Did get some pushback and some follow-up questions, but not really the show and the performance that we're used to seeing Roger Goodell from Super Bowl week. Obviously, he was going to get asked about Taylor Swift and even scripting games.
Whoa.
Here's Roger Goodell.
Let's talk about ratings right now. You know, both championship games, over 50 million viewers. What do you attribute those record-breaking numbers to? And in all honesty, how much is it the Taylor Swift effect?
Good part.
I would tell you it's because of the great competition. Listen, the competition has been off the charts this year. We've had 70 games that I think 70% of our games have been within one score in the fourth quarter. The young stars, the older stars, the amazing performances by teams, you see all that. That's what fans ultimately love. Having the Taylor Swift effect is also a positive. Listen, they're both Travis and Taylor are wonderful young people. They seem very happy. She knows great entertainment, and I think that's why she loves NFL football. But I think it's great to have her a part of it. Obviously, it creates a buzz. It creates another group of young fans, particularly young women, that are interested in seeing why is she going to this game? Why is she interested in this game? Besides Travis, she is a football fan. And I think that's great for us.
Football girl won a couple Grammys the other night. We're proud of her, obviously, and pumped up for her. He also talked about the NFL being rigged or scripted in an actual press conference.
What do you say to those who think it's all scripted by the NFL?
I don't think I'm that good a scripter or anybody on our staff. I think it's, you know, listen, there is no way that I could have scripted that one. Let's just put it that way. But she is, or anybody in our office, she's a remarkable performer. She knows great entertainment. I had the opportunity to go to 2 of her concerts with our girls and my wife. She's the best of the best, and so having her come to NFL games, have her a part of that is nothing but a positive.
So obviously, you say I'm not that good of a scripter. And I think what we've been saying about the NFL is rigged crowd is we could see why you would think what you're thinking because the NFL's ratings are doing this. They must be doing something to cook the books when nobody else can seemingly keep up. But then you're giving credit to a lot of people, like a lot of people. And Roger,
so many moving parts. Think about that.
Well, and also masterminds. And, you know, like the amount of, like Roger Goodell, when he's laying in bed at night or laying on his leather chair, eating peanut M&Ms, watching NFL football in his basement doing his thing. He has to think to himself, when he's away from the cameras and nobody hears, these people think I'm a genius. These people got me writing a script for an entire league that's getting 200 million people to watch the season finale of what I watch. And the matter of fact is, I get it that you maybe got screwed or a ref made a bad call. We've all been there. We've been pissed. Yep. Okay, we've all been there. We've all been pissed. But the amount of people that would have to be in on this for this to happen is absurd. And also, think about if it didn't work out this way, what the story would be. Like, let's say Lamar Jackson made it. You don't think that's a storybook type rigged script that the NFL would potentially want to put together? How about the Detroit Lions, the brand new Lions? You don't think that people would say that's a fairy tale ending? The NFL is a beautiful thing that these are even being accused of happening, but the amount of stories in fairy tale book endings there could be is never ending, which is why the NFL is continuing up and to the right, AJ.
Well, I mean, they don't need to script it. That's the thing. Like, people want to act like there's all this there's all this collusion and all this stuff happening. You don't have to do that. I mean, you have 11 on 11 facing each other. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of coaches, a lot of different things happening. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, this just naturally plays out.
You said it, though. Think about the script. They started the season, Lions and Chiefs, and then the Lions run. And if they would have been the last game of the season, too, that script, that would have been the script.
That would have been a full callback. We would have had callbacks in the entire script. They kind of missed that. But I would just like to say, I understand we're corporate chills. Okay, I understand people just tell us what to say, and we have no brains or thoughts.
Beep, boop, beep,
I would just like to let people. I don't have faith in humans enough to be able to execute it. I think you're giving people far too much credit. We've got a chance to peek behind the curtain in a lot of different companies, and the people that are at the top, not as, So you're giving people a lot of faith. Just remember that. But we will certainly stay open-minded to the thought that the NFL is working all of us. But we will all agree that the sport is phenomenal. Speaking of, let's dive a little bit deeper. In this particular program, we don't like to just be the national zoomed out doofuses. No. We like to go boots on the ground to hear what's actually being said and talked about and doing on these teams. Let's feel the beat. AJ, not once did you feel the beat.
I'm delayed. I'm a little bit of a delay, so if I get in, I'm off.
Oh,
the beat.
yeah,
You're a prick.
We're all just waiting for him to feel the beat one time.
Yeah. I thought we were popping up. I thought we were popping the guest up. We're feeling the beat.
All I was trying to do was feel the beat one time with my friend AJ.
You're a dick.
AJ, you will not disrespect this program.
Not at all.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to feel the beat.
I'm delayed.
I see you. Okay, you're just hyping people.
Why don't you just dance? Just do one of these. Just one time. Just move your shoulders.
This is just like when Wiz Khalifa asked you to put your hands up.
Yeah.
Well, you saw that. You saw the proof. I sent you proof of that.
Yeah, you were stretching in mid-stretch. You said, "Oh, look at me. I got my hands up." Nonetheless, let's stop wasting this beat reporter's time.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I agree.
Beat writer for the San Francisco 49ers for The Athletic, friend of the program, at Lombardi himself, David Lombardi. Sorry he wouldn't feel the beat for you, David. This son of a bitch.
That was a Super Bowl intro, though. I've never seen anything like that. But
Hell, it's a big week, David.
Come on. Hey, can I work out of your studio? I checked it out on Radio Row yesterday. I know you're probably coming tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir. We're coming over there tonight. Seems like everybody was on that in that studio before us. We're excited to get there.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. It's out in the corner. It looks like they constructed the whole thing. It looks like real brick and everything. It's going to be fun.
Shout out to the ESPN folks that built that. The Game Day crew was a part of that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're kind of the ones that are on location for us everywhere they build. They took a lot of pride in that. I'm happy to hear it looks good. We can't wait to get out there. Let's talk about being out there. Last night, opening night, seems like everybody's relaxed, calm, cool. We hear a Coyote bites a player. Was that a Niner? What are your thoughts right now with where the mindset is of the San Francisco 49ers? And how do you think the team's handling all of the attention that the Super Bowl has brought?
Yeah, so I covered one of these 4 years ago in Miami. Last night felt like the opening ceremony of the Olympics. They do the walkout, and obviously the big media circus was there. Right now, the talk around the 49ers has been the field issue, but it looks like they're going to practice at UNLV at least on Wednesday. Today, I'm heading out to the team hotel, which is 16 miles off the strip. Both teams are staying off the strip to stay out of all the potential trouble here. So I'll be heading out there, talking to a few players. And then, just is going to become the team's hope and the 49ers hope it'll become a standard practice week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The media will come to them at the hotel, and then obviously Saturday walkthrough and Sunday game. So, it's deja vu a little bit, right? Because the 49ers and the Chiefs played 4 years ago in Miami, except this time I think it's all ratcheted up because it's Las Vegas. You ratchet up the tension, you ratchet up the pressure, right? Because in Vegas, everything seems to be a little bit bigger, and it is exciting that this city is hosting the Super Bowl.
Yeah, last night looked immense. I mean, it looked the biggest I think I've ever seen an opening night, and the Niners fans were already there and very, very loud. Excited to be a part of it starting tonight, us. Go ahead, AJ.
You mentioned all the pressure and everything ratcheting it up. When you watch Brock Purdy play and you just watch him and kind of conduct himself in all of these situations, he seems to always be poised, confident, and never too high, never too low. How do you think he's going to carry that throughout this week, and also the rest of the team? Can you feel the excitement with the team? Obviously, it's kind of weird when we're watching the Chiefs get booed by the Niners fans. Like, how are they, the players of the Niners, reacting to all of this?
It's funny because 4 years ago, I remember at opening night, it was more Chiefs fans. And then at the game, I thought that there were more Chiefs fans. But you're right. Yesterday, they were chanting Purdy's name at the media night. It was overwhelmingly 49ers fans. And I'm guessing that the game is going to have a 49ers fan majority as well. It makes sense. The 49ers fandom is probably just a little bit more ravenous right now for a Super Bowl title. The Chiefs have already won 2 since that 2019 Super Bowl. So I think, Brock Purdy is as level-headed as they come. That's one of the things that's impressed people the most about him is that, he's come from pick 262 and just been this even-keeled veteran type of presence, even though he barely has a year of starting experience under his belt. And I think that goes back to him taking over at Iowa State his first year, and he was a starter there for 4 years. So he had a lot of big time college football experience under his belt. He turned that program around, and I think he's carried that demeanor that he built as the starter over at Iowa State into this time with the 49ers. And even though it's a bigger stage in the NFL, I don't think he's blinked.
Bosa, talking to him after the NFC Championship, did you know, dude? How are you doing this right now? This is crazy. I was picking them.
That was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
that interaction.
Yeah, it's a nice transparent
I thought that
moment.
was a look into their locker room, man. I really, they have a really, really. Christian McCaffrey once joked with me. He said, I walk around, it feels like the Pro Bowl. So many guys, and that was one of in the corner. You got 2 All-Pros, Brock Purdy and Nick Bosa, and Nick Bosa's just amazed at how. Just such a raw moment after the game, right? He's amazed at how Brock Purdy's doing what he's doing. I thought that opened the window into what it is. I walk in there after games, the first thing I see is Nick Bosa pulling up a chair by Trent Williams' locker. And they're sitting there breaking down the game. Sometimes it's held their pads on. That's the first thing that they do. First thing Nick does. And Trent's on the other side of the room. So he'll walk across the room, pull up a chair, and they're just there breaking it down. You have 2 of the greats in the game talking football, and that's kind of the vibe in that 49ers locker room.
I think another thing that little moment between Bosa and Purdy proved is this is only Purdy's second year. Mm-hmm. Bosa's still learning about this guy. Everybody's still learning about him. Brock is still learning about who he is as a person, as a teammate, as a leader, as everything. It's very fascinating how Brock Purdy's been dropped into this team that has had, you talked about 4 years ago in the Super Bowl, has had a lot of success over the past and almost taken him to new heights. The perfect piece to the puzzle is what everybody says. Now, that brings a lot of expectation. Ty has a question for you, Lim.
Yeah, David, just curious. Everyone's obviously talking about Brock Purdy and everything he's going through, but with Shanahan, everyone always goes back to 28-3, and then obviously, I don't know if people necessarily blame the last Super Bowl that they lost against the Chiefs on him, but could you argue that Shanahan has the most to prove out of everyone on the 49ers? And not saying they're going to lose, but if they somehow don't win on Sunday, do you expect things to kind of get loud for Shanahan and that, he can't win the big game, and it's kind of like he's almost like how they talked about Andy Reid several years ago before he, won his first Super Bowl with the Chiefs?
Yeah, there'll definitely be some of that if the 49ers lose, because that's just the magnitude of this game. You lose a Super Bowl, a smaller degree if you lose an NFC championship, which the 49ers had lost the 2 years prior to this. There's that recoil, right? There's that recoil effect. It's like, oh boy, what does this mean? You can't win the big one. So, and I know that Kyle Shanahan is feeling this more than anybody, right? After what happened in Atlanta in 2016, 2019 was devastating for the 49ers. And then they blew the lead in the 2021 NFC Championship game against the Rams in the fourth quarter. So that was gut-wrenching because it was on the heels of that 2019 Super Bowl against the Chiefs, where they also blew a lead. Then they lost Purdy to the injury against the Eagles, so they never really had a chance. But that's why, coming back in the playoffs twice against the Packers and then against the Lions, I think was so big. They were exercising some demons, the 49ers were, during this postseason, because they had their hearts ripped out by blowing leads Shanahan had and his team had in some of these big games. But instead, we saw a little bit of a role reversal. So, but you got to finish the job. You have to finish the job for those narratives that Shanahan can't win the very biggest game to drop. And that game for him to prove it is on Sunday.
Kyle Shanahan's going to finish his story.
He does.
Just like Cody.
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's got to finish his story.
He does.
There's a lot of people talking about it from 28-3 all the way to now. Can he finish his story? We shall see. Let's talk about the game a little bit. Go ahead, Darius.
Well, see, coming into this game, it seemed like everybody came out pretty clean, pretty healthy. Are there any injury concerns or question marks going into the Super Bowl? And you kind of mentioned coming back. Anything you heard, I guess, through the grapevine as far as switching things up at practice to kind of start these games a little or this game a little faster?
Yeah, so they made a really interesting adjustment. Go back and watch the tape. At halftime of the Lions game, I thought the defense was the major problem of the first half. They gave up 150 rushing yards on 7 carries, so they obviously had to fix something. But sometimes your best defense is a good offense, and I don't think that they were particularly sharp in the first half either offensively. I thought that the interior line was getting backed into Brock Purdy's lap, and I thought that the switch to a little bit of tempo to open the second half was really, really big for the 49ers. What it did is it allowed them to control kind of the flow of that Detroit pass rush a bit, get Purdy into a rhythm. And then as the offense got into a rhythm, I thought that the defense was less exposed. Obviously, they got a couple breaks, including the fumble. They got the Detroit fourth down conversions that didn't work, and then everything started clicking. So complimentary football was what got them going in the second half, and I think they definitely want to make sure that is what they do in the first half. And maybe you even have to move Purdy off the spot a little bit in the first half, because we know that Chris Jones is the game wrecker for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's probably going to be working against Feliciano, but don't be surprised if they move Chris Jones out to the edge on some of these and try to work against Colton McKivitz at right tackle. And if the 49ers feel that they need to move Purdy around a little bit to make sure he gets a clean throwing lane, maybe they do that sooner in this football game. But the good news for them is it looks like it's a clean injury slate for them entering this big game.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go watch the tape.
I will. Hey, Lambo just got to be dialed in.
I mean, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
Don't you host NFL matchups?
Wake up.
Everything DB, good D, bad D.
Oh, you watch the tape.
Yeah.
What's that, Butch?
I thought you were watching the tape. You didn't watch
Everything he said is what I saw on tape, too.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, so that's good. Lambo. You guys are seeing the frame the same exact way. You mentioned Chris Jones being a game wrecker. Seems like maybe there's a heightened energy. Con Man's got the last question for you.
Yeah, Dave, a little bit of some noise being made at the media night last night. Is there a fear going on in San Francisco that there's a chance that these 49er fans are so rowdy, so pumped up for this game that they're actually motivating the Chiefs and making them better and feeding them with these boos and that they might blow it for this San Francisco team?
Finish your story.
San Francisco.
I'll tell you what. The Chiefs have proven so much. They've won their 2 Super Bowls here entering this one. I haven't seen anything about that operation that suggests that fans at media night booing a little bit louder might be something that they need to motivate them.
Okay.
Fair.
Hey, hold on. Can we run that Travis Kelce clip from last night at opening night, please, with a good beard he has?
And it's been an absolute. Y'all are firing me up. Making me want to play right now, man. I love the boos, man. I love the cheers, baby. Keep them coming. Niners gang, keep them coming.
He's an entertainer, but come on. Several of you guys have played. You
He's an
If you're
entertainer.
not locked in for the Super Bowl because it's the Super Bowl, if you're relying on fans booing you at media night, I'm not sure you're in the right headspace. But I think Travis Kelce, George Kittle, both of those tight ends are elite entertainers. They love to work the crowd. And I think both of these teams are going to be locked in regardless of the crowd division in this game.
We know you're going to be locked in as well. We can't thank you enough for joining us. Enjoy the hell out of Vegas, and thanks for stopping by our set. Hopefully we get to see you in real life soon.
Yeah, I'll swing by. I'll say hi.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lombardi himself.
Yeah, Lombardi!
There was a big piece of The Last Dance.
Yeah.
Where Michael Jordan in a playoff game, like a massive part of it, was that coach coming in and saying, Mr. Jordan, great suit, the whole thing, and him saying, that's all I needed.
Is that right?
That's all I needed. So I appreciate the sentiment and in theory it's the Super Bowl. These guys don't need to be motivated anymore. It's like, okay, there's levels to this shit though.
Yep. Sure doesn't hurt though. Sure doesn't hurt.
Yeah, they came in all black last week.
Yeah.
You remember
Bingo.
when they went into the bank like they were Chiefsaholic? All this stuff is just feeding it even more, and they are a crew that buys into it. You heard Travis talk about it. You heard Patrick talk about it. You heard Chris Jones talk about it. It's like they do buy in to the noise that is outside, and they have to tap into that type of stuff, and the Niners are giving them everything. If you want some extra motivation, come on in. It's all you can eat buffet.
Yeah, exactly.
Opening night, we're going to boo your asses out of there. Let's obviously head to the other city that's being represented in the Super Bowl. Let's dive a little bit deeper. Let's learn a little bit more about the Chiefs. Let's feel the beat.
You stay on the chair.
Just one time, AJ. We don't have time.
I did. You heard me saying da 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 da.
It's ba da da da.
Dummy.
Great intro.
Didn't even move his shoulder.
It is. It could have been. Great, is what we're trying to say.
I mean, we could.
No, we're not doing it again.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, join us now. Beat writer from The Athletic for the Kansas City Chiefs, friend of the program, Nate Taylor. Nate, so sorry that AJ refuses to show any respect to the beat writers joining us on this particular Super Bowl Tuesday, but I want to let you know we are very thankful that you're here, Nate.
Thank you, fellas. It's great to be back again. Welcome to the Super Bowl here from lovely Las Vegas, although technically we're in Henderson here at the team hotel for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Was that the place where the coyote got bit or bit the player? Have you heard about this?
Ooh, who was it?
Now, look, I don't know if a player actually got bit. There's been conflicting reports. Yes, I did see this, but yes, this was the place where you would see a coyote or two. So stay careful, fellas, before obviously the game on Sunday.
Nate, I've already imagined this. When I moved to Indiana, I learned of coyotes' existences with dogs. You got to kick them right in the jaw, Nate. You got to kick them right in the jaw. You have to go towards them. This isn't a situation where you turn and run. This isn't a play dead situation. This is an eye-to-eye, boot-to-jaw situation, Nate. You got to do it for the Chiefs too, maybe. Yes.
A little uppercut?
Yeah, with your foot. Boom! Right through the jaw of that thing to save the Chiefs Super Bowl, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, and those coyotes running around, they look a lot like Chiefsaholic, don't they?
They do a little bit. They
Oh,
do.
my. I mean, I just kind of piece that together.
His spirit.
He is.
The spirit of Chiefsaholic.
Oh, my God. He's there. He's there. Anyways, we were just chit-chatting to Lombardi himself, obviously colleague of yours. I know you know him. About the Niners gang, maybe adding a little extra motivation to the Chiefs and getting a chance to feel it. We saw it in Baltimore. Obviously, we saw it in Buffalo against Miami. It feels like this team is embracing that role and enjoying that role. Do you feel that? Are you experiencing that? And what does it feel like from the team going into this Super Bowl as opposed to maybe Super Bowls past?
Yeah, the Chiefs, they know they're technically the underdog, right? They understand that even though they're the defending Super Bowl champs, they're being doubted yet again, right? And fellas, I will tell you this, and I remember it the day I started, really covering this team, being around Patrick Mahomes over the last 6-7 years. Patrick Mahomes does not forget. Patrick Mahomes pretty much hears everything, or someone, in his crew tells him what is being said publicly, obviously before a game. And I think Andy Reid even leans into it because he understands it energizes the guys. It gets them a little bit more focused and juiced up to sort of obviously play the villain. Obviously, they've been on the road a couple of times, but with everything being said about the Chiefs right now, there's still a chance for them to be one of the great next dynasties, but they have to, get over the finish line Sunday. And it will be no sweeter for them if they're able to do that, knowing that there are more people expecting them to lose Sunday than obviously to win.
6 straight AFC championships, 2 Super Bowls, losing 1. Not yet a dynasty, says Nate Taylor. Yep. I like that you guys are, hard judges, the local crowd, because we're already crowning them as a dynasty. Go ahead, AJ.
Nate, how confident do you feel this Chiefs defense is? We know that they're finally getting talked about a little bit with their stellar play that they have had as of late. I feel like they have just been oozing confidence, and they probably want to kind of show out on this stage and let everybody know who they are and what they are. Like, can you feel any difference around this Chiefs defense?
Yeah, I think the Chiefs defense understands that they're going to have quite the challenge with Christian McCaffrey, right? If you look at any statistical metric, the Chiefs have struggled sort of defending the run. Well, guess what? You get the best running back in the league. But I think one of the best parts of the Chiefs defense is their trust in their ability to adapt with Steve Spagnuolo, obviously, who is becoming, quite honestly, one of the most legendary defensive coordinators in NFL history, right? Obviously, he's the only defensive coordinator to win a Super Bowl with multiple franchises, obviously the Giants and now the Chiefs. So Steve Spagnuolo is going to blitz, and the reason the blitz can be so successful is because the Chiefs have perhaps the best duo of cornerbacks, right, with L'Jarius Sneed and Trent McDuffie. So if they can take away George Kittle and obviously limit Brendan Ayuk's success, and obviously we don't know where Deebo Samuel's going to get the ball, it really comes down to, can the 49ers get real, production out of Christian McCaffrey, or will Willie Gay, Nick Bolton, Justin Reed, and obviously Chris Jones in the middle be able to, get the Niners in 3rd and long? Because ultimately the game comes down to, can Brock Purdy deliver on time late in the game if it's a tight game on 3rd down? But in order to get to 3rd down, fellas, you got to stop that running back. And so that's what the Chiefs are primarily focused on, is Christian McCaffrey, because they believe he is the engine behind this 49ers offense.
Always game record number 1 against the San Francisco 49ers is Christian McCaffrey. If they get the run game going, and then they also get play action and the misdirection taking place, that is a tough machine to stop. The Packers were able to do it for a bit. Lions were able to do it for a bit, not for long enough. And Brock Purdy has proven late in the game, 3rd down, close, to deliver. Can he do it to Super Bowl? That's continuing. That's going to be the question forever, because he hasn't proved it yet. Patrick Mahomes has, obviously. They know they got a guy. Speaking of a guy, on the offensive side, a lot of headlines. Go ahead, D-Buck.
Yeah, a lot of headlines off the field, not so great ones. I think he cleared some things up speaking to the media yesterday. But Kadarius Toney, what's the expectations for him going into this game? I know he had a big Super Bowl performance last year. So what's the expectations for 19 going into this one?
Yeah, fellas, it's a great topic because, with all the chaos around Super Bowl opening night last night, I wanted to spend a lot of time with Kadarius Toney because, look, he was supposed to be their number 1 receiver when the season began. Obviously, he leads the team in drops. He's had more lowlights than highlights, but he does believe he's healthy. He does believe he can help the team win the Super Bowl. Andy Reid, as I wrote in The Athletic, fellas, he is a coach who loves second chances, hell, even third chances for a redemption story. So there might be a chance for Kadarius Toney to be active on Sunday just because he is dynamic as a punt returner. But even if he doesn't play, guys, he's the only player on this roster who could be similar to Deebo Samuel in terms of scout team for the opposing defense. So even though he may not play on Sunday, if that is indeed the case, he can still serve a valuable role. Obviously, we all know what he said on Instagram Live. He tried to clear it up. He tried to admit that, wasn't the smartest thing to do the day after my, daughter was born. But look,
congrats on the baby, by the way. Nobody's talking about that.
Yes, congrats to him and his partner. Obviously the baby girl's healthy, doing well. But at the same time, you have to understand too that your team is still in the postseason. They can still do something quite remarkable. So I'd be fascinated, fellas, if Andy Reid gives this man one more chance, and if Patrick Mahomes or if obviously Matt Nagy and them can sort of create a play for him to get the ball in space. It's catching the ball, fellas. That's the issue. Once he has the ball in his hands, we all know he's dynamic and obviously can create a highlighter.
Jet sweeps, though.
Oh, baby.
Buddy.
Yeah.
Just hand it. You don't even have to do anything. Not even a pitch is needed. You just got it. He did have a huge punt return last year.
Massive.
Huge. And then a touchdown walking on the side. And it's like those things, I think, are what trajected everybody into thinking he was going to be phenomenal for the Chiefs this year. This is what he can be. This is why he was brought in. This is why he's the next Tyreek Hill, is what they dubbed him out of college. And then it just hasn't worked out for one reason or another. But You're only as good as your last game.
Hey, we're rooting for you.
Yeah, we are, Kadarius.
Yeah. Amen.
You're a special talent. You called me goofy on your Instagram. I don't know. I don't never met each other, but I am pulling. You're an electrifying talent on the field. Hope you figure it out. And congrats on the new baby. Tone has a question for you.
Yeah, Nate, I wanted to ask you about injuries. I heard you say Willie Gay, so I assume he's back after missing the AFC Championship. Have we heard anything about Joe Thuney yet, if he's going to practice or potentially play? And is there anything else lingering out there?
So one of the best parts of last night, fellas, was I go to Willie Gay and I say, hey, could you have played in the AFC Championship game? He said yes, but he would not have been able to play in Sunday's game because he believes he would have re-aggravated that injury. So I said, how are you sure you're going to play on Sunday? And he did one of these, fellas. He did let that shit really roll. So he's ready to go. And I was like, okay, all right, I'll back up. Willie Gay, active, put it down in pin. And then, of course, when it comes to Joe Thuney, he's going to try really hard, fellas. I know that I would still say the odds are slim, right? He is one of the best offensive linemen in the league, one of the most, pristine techniques in terms of pass blocking. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes needs all of his linemen to be at their absolute best against this fearsome 49er pass rush. But, Nick Allegretti was serviceable. He played up to the level of necessary against the Baltimore Ravens. So even if Joe Thuney can't play, even though he's been a multiple Super Bowl champion with the Patriots, obviously protecting Tom Brady early in his career, and now Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid may say, hey, if you're not fully 100%, if you can't necessarily get to that, full practice participant, say Wednesday, Thursday, hell, even Friday, then they're going to obviously turn back to Nick Allegretti. So Nick Allegretti's played in the Super Bowl before. I'm sure he wants his chance to sort of prove that, hey, I'm a better player than I was in Super Bowl 55, when, of course, he was part of that sort of makeshift motley crew that had to, try to protect Patrick Mahomes against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It did not go well. So if Nick Allegretti gets his turn again, I'm sure he'll be highly motivated to show what he can do.
Played phenomenal last weekend.
Yeah.
And whenever he spoke, basically saying everybody's praises of that offensive line. Feels like the team's really, really tight, which is obviously what you need and probably going to be if you make it to the Super Bowl regardless. But it's hard to win, especially when there's distractions. Ty has a question for you, Nate.
Yeah, Nate, just curious, what is Patrick Mahomes' demeanor like? I mean, he's obviously played in this game several times, but we saw last night someone asked him a question related to like his dad, and obviously he's dealing with that he took it in stride and didn't make a big deal about that. But obviously there's a lot more going on in his personal life than maybe in years past. So what has his kind of just general demeanor been like going into this game?
I believe Patrick Mahomes is probably going to be as comfortable as he's ever been heading into a Super Bowl, even despite, the legal issues surrounding his father. Obviously he's Patrick himself is a father of two young kids. Brittany, his wife, they're obviously going to be here throughout the course of the week in Las Vegas. I just get the sense that Patrick understands the gravity of the moment in front of him, right? The chance to really establish himself as the next great guy, right? Alongside now perhaps chasing Tom Brady for those 7 Super Bowls. Well, you need to win on Sunday, but I do get the sense that Mahomes is comfortable. He's been through this so many times before. It's crazy to me, fellas, that he's been a starter for 6 years and half of those seasons have ended right here in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Of course, he's played very well in those games so far. So I get the sense that, despite all the surrounding, he kind of loves the idea of, again, being the underdog, understanding Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are going to take much of the oxygen throughout this week. And when it's time to go, I just expect him to play, as well as we've seen him so far in this postseason.
People are getting real comfortable with Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, we do a Kermit the Frog impression. Will you dance for me up there?
That was absurd.
It's like, all right. This is Patrick Mahomes we're talking
How
about.
about I smack you in the mouth?
This is Patrick we're talking about.
How about that?
Everybody, he's 28 years old. I get it. But it's like he's handled everything perfectly. He's obviously played incredibly. He's already being talked about as a GOAT. This morning, though, I was asked on First Take, does he get a pass if he loses?
No way. No, he doesn't.
No, he sucks if he loses.
Yep. Amen.
That's a matter of fact. You better write that shit, too, in The Athletic. Okay, Nate? If they lose, he sucks. He does not get a pass.
No pass.
This guy stinks at football. It's crazy what he has accomplished so quickly. Last question. Go ahead, AJ.
Hey, what about Andy Reid? What's his demeanor been like throughout this playoff push? And do you feel like he's going to just continue to coach and say, hey, Patrick Mahomes is my quarterback. I have a great core. I want to coach forever.
Yeah, as I told you guys last time, fellas, I think Andy Reid is enjoying the moment. I think he's probably as focused as ever before. Something to keep in mind, guys. Andy Reid loves being on the grandest stage, which means you're going to get a trick play or two out of this offense, right? So I get the sense that, they've studied the 49ers. Andy Reid off a bye week, that's a real thing. He takes all the little advantages, all the little weaknesses you have and tries to expose them. So, look, I talked to Clark Hunt earlier this morning along with some other reporters in Kansas City, the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs, and he says, look, I have not had any conversations with Andy about, what is going to be, the ultimate sort of last chapter of his career, but he anticipates him being obviously the coach in 2024. And he says, look, I have no succession plan because I just want him to be the coach for the next foreseeable future. So, again, if Andy Reid and the Chiefs were to somehow pull this off, again, the longest, toughest road that they've ever had to go through in the postseason with Patrick Mahomes, I think it will only galvanize them more to try to see, hey, how much can we really push this forward now that we're back-to-back champions?
Travis Kelce said he's never wanted one better than this one, going back-to-back. He felt what it was like to lose a back-to-back one before. Doesn't want to experience it again. We appreciate the hell out of you. Stay safe out there. Kick a coyote in the mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, Nate Taylor from the Athletic. We got to go find one of those when we get out there.
They're going to find us.
Yeah, I don't think so. They hear me talking, this boot, that jaw. I don't think so. They're going to be howling to each other. Stay away from that particular watch. All right, tomorrow when we're back, we'll be live from Radio Row in Las Vegas. Big time guest. Antonio Pierce joins us on YouTube and ESPN Plus. Have a great day. Cheers. I think.
Let's go.
Nailed it.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that one coyote looked pretty big out that dude's
pretty
window.
big. What?
Up on the hill.
I mean, it's a Siciliano situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Coyotes they're usually not huge, but that one looked pretty solid. That was over on the side.
You guys got a lot of those things? Wolf rats over there in Ohio?
Yeah, there's coyotes around.
Yeah, they're called people.
Wolf rats.
You're disgusting.
What? Some people would call people in Ohio wolf rats. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, nobody would call that.
It's a gritty animal.
Did you hear what I was saying? I learned last night that the Creed brothers, the tag team.
Oh my God.
These dudes are from Ohio. Did you see this? This tag team?
All Americans.
Both of them, 2-time NCAA All Americans, national champion, one of them.
Really?
Brothers from Ohio are currently wrestling in WWE on Monday Night Raw. I'd seen them on the internet at NXT. Last night, they were in this fatal 4-way tag team match to take on Pete Dunne and Tyler. And during the commercial break, I'm like, what's these guys' story?
They took out Butch?
No. Pete Dunne is his name.
Come on.
Butch is gone.
DIY, yes. Johnny Gargano and Ciampa did win the fatal 4-way. Congrats to them beating Imperium and New Day and the Creed brothers, who I'm speaking about now. During the commercial break, though, I'm like learning more about these guys. They're like, Michael Cole's like, yeah, shoot, look, because both their ears. I'm like, look at these fuckers' ears. Like, these guys, real deal or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, both of them, 2-time All-Americans. I'm like,
where'd they wrestle?
What? Duke,
I think Duke, yeah. Duke is
okay.
So smart, too.
Duke?
Smart.
I mean,
smart
the cannonball off the top rope.
Just flying.
So
the
sick.
Brutus ball is what they call it.
Brutus ball.
I was like, where are these dudes from? They got to be like Northeast if they went to Duke. They're like Ohio. I'm like, we got 2 Ohio fucks who are 2 multiple-time All-American with that. I like that.
Watch out.
I'm watching
Watch
now.
out
The
for
one
them.
Creed brother had a deep ankle lock.
Oh,
in
yeah.
there.
Look at this double suplex. How you doing?
Grew up a fan of Kurt Angle. That's why.
Ankle lock.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, and break ankle right there. That's Italian.
Oh, no.
Little linguine happening in the middle there.
Double.
Yeah, double.
And kip up. He suplexed like 6 people straight, and then kip upped every time. He's a machine. The Creed brothers are absolute machines. But no, there are no wolf rats in Ohio. The humans are all absolute studs. I'm talking about coyotes. They're like a rattier version of a wolf.
Correct.
Is what a coyote is. And I just got a text from one of my college teammates. I believe he's athletic director or associate athletic director at UNLV.
Oh, wow.
He literally just texted me out the front door of my office, and it's a coyote just running right in front. So this is like...
They're out there.
Tell them to capture it. We want to kick it.
We need to have our heads on a swivel.
That guy, yeah.
That
guy
fucker's
right
pretty big.
Yeah, but if
those
you
are
just
normal guys.
These things like the gossip. You break one fucking jaw, all of them find out about it.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
You better not miss.
Exactly.
You better not miss because your balls are gone.
We're not missing in a moment. That's not us.
No,
Plus,
you're not missing.
Left hand block your nuts, Tony, if you're worried.
You're going to be out on that golf course tomorrow all
No, wear a
bruised up.
cup. You got to wear a cup the
club.
whole time.
I got a club on me. I'll be all
You're
right.
right. The clubs, yeah.
Yeah.
You got a golf cart. Run him over your golf
to
cart.
the jaw.
I will be
See,
all right.
I'm bringing my shotgun.
Do they run?
Bryson will
pack?
eat that thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, Coyotes running backs, yeah.
Yeah, they do.
If you see one alone, that means
Big
it's a
pack
piece of shit
animal.
one.
Yeah.
True. We run in packs too.
Yeah, probably stole from the pack. You're damn right. It's
If
going
you
to catch
see
him
one
alone,
alone,
though.
that means the other ones are watching you from
Bingo. Like
shade
Raptors.
from the cover.
Yeah, or that one's hated.
Yeah.
And
They got to be shooting those things at an alarming rate right now out there.
Especially with the helicopters and the gun laws we've heard from Nevada. They got to just be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 50 cal.
Probably a tour. You take a little tour to go shoot coyotes out of a helicopter.
That's Texas.
We should do that.
Well, especially the one that bit the NFL player.
Yeah.
We didn't want to have these types of problems with coyotes before we headed out there. Remember, we want positive vibes, but now you're attacking our league?
Sorry.
Can't have.
I don't think so, you little fucking bitch. I don't think so. I ain't doing this. We got a Super Bowl in your town. You're welcome, coyote.
I agree.
Now you're going to be attacking one? That Las Vegas locally is not just some run-of-the-mill account. They got the news.
Oh, yeah.
For Vegas.
They're plugged in.
They are plugged. They've had Sphere News before everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
They are very, very plugged in. They've taught us a lot about Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
This Las Vegas locally. Speaking of, let's get to a break. Local Las Vegas coach Antonio Pierce has teamed up with Circle K to take care of the people behind the scenes that are putting together this entire Super Bowl.
Hell yeah.
So we will be joined by Las Vegas Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce on the other side of this break. I can't wait to chat with him.
He's awesome.
Gonna be sick.
I'm a huge fan of him, and I played against him. That guy is an absolute stud. So, yeah, he should be great.
He's the only guy, head coach in the NFL, that showed up in a drop top with 2 stud earrings.
That's right.
And won over a locker room and flipped the culture seemingly on its head overnight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good for him. We get a chance to chat with him, and he's taking care of the city, in which he's the head coach.
Good guy.
That sounds wonderful.
Love that.
Coach Antonio Pierce will join us on the other side. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change your life. Take 5. If you're the NCAA and you're sitting in that stupid office in Indianapolis where we happen to live, it's a great city. It's a great town. And there's a dumb institution that is ruling over college football. Because if you don't want these people dancing... Celebration, bitches.
What's up?
Is that the president's name?
Oh, that's Kurt Signatic.
Do we like the NCAA? Do we like Pat? Do we love the Dukes? I wish when I was asked, like, why did you punt? I could say my subcommittee recommended I punt. Talk your shit. This guy's hot. This guy's hot.
We'll see you in the next hour. I say today, we take a stand against the NCAA. Let them bull.
Let him bowl.
Amen. Rest in peace, Dale. Moment of silence for Dale Earnhardt. Moment has passed. Thank you, Dale. This one's for 3. AJ Hawk, $5,000. This has been one of the coolest moments of my entire professional life. JMU! Thank you so much for the hospitality. JMU!
you understand quickly that there's idiots making decisions in every single place that you would never guess idiots would be making decisions. You don't think bowl season deserves to have this situation cooking behind it? College football is better because JMU's football is crushing. College is better because what their football team is doing. The community is better. And the NCAA, yet again, adds to their long list of decisions. Look at that steamboat in the hills of Virginia. You know what? To hell with all of them. James Madison, right here. Right here. That chef looks damn good. I'd eat that guy's meat any day of the week. If you're able to bury this 33-yard field goal, kicking is easy is what you have said to kickers before. Others have on the internet. Now, 90 racks on the line. We believe. Oh! Killed a kid! Killed a kid! Our worst kid yet! 100 racks of charity. This dog stinks! And that's not the JMU. Are going to crush App State? They would crush anybody this weekend, especially in this city with how dumb the NCAA is. Let them bowl and let the boys dominate today.
In my Constitution, I have the First Amendment right to free speech. Pat has the Second Amendment right to take its sleeves off and show the bare arms all the time. But I'm saying, if we are so lucky to go undefeated this year, and we end up winning in a bowl game, if we get in, I'm going to use my First Amendment to declare the JMU Dukes national champions. Like UCF. I'm just going to say it, and come and stop me. Time to coach.
Jack, it's working. All of it's working.
They'll have one loss because App State is beating JMU Mountaineers, baby. They're gonna dog shit all over this dumb place. App State forever. Yeah, fuck you too. How about that?
What are you going to do to change and make Tua better? Have you gotten into that? This is very early in the whole process, and you're shaking hands, kissing babies right now, and you're a 0-win head coach that everybody loves.
0 wins.
0 win, but what are you thinking about that for Tua? How do you make him better?
We're going to start with scoring more points than the opponent.
Wow!
Holy shit. Oh, no.
You are changing the game.
Changing the game.
Yeah.
Through math.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I think I was just so fortunate in my career to be around the process of how I look at things with the empowerment of the right teachers, that I look backwards, forwards, okay? What things do I see that are really awesome about his game on tape, even though we're at...
He's accurate as heck.
Boom! That's what I was just about to say.
Oh, I didn't know. I was just... you were leading me. That's how, you should do this, maybe.
Dude,
think about it in the future.
Dude.
But he's so accurate.
Or we should just spend the time finishing each other's...
sentences.
Oh, okay.
Hey, have we known each other for...
our whole lives?
Oh, my God. You tell...
me?
Wow.
This is weird. Dude.
Whoa,
Seems like you guys just became.
Dude.
Wow, this is fucking weird, AJ.
Bro.
Hey, this is...
Did we swap skins?
Wow, we learned a lot about yours, by the way. I mean,
yeah.
Hey.
Why?
Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for. The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, you pig! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Sport! Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Super Bowl 58 Tuesday, February 6th, 2024. Hour 3 of the program starts now.
football.
It's a glorious thing. That's AJ Hawk. The Toxic Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. One after the hammer, Dahn. Cowboys Tone Diggs is here. 9-year NFL vet, host of the Man to Man podcast and NFL matchups. Darius J. Butler's here looking super, super fucking cool.
Yeah,
super cool fit today. This Italian sent him maybe 10 different jump. Hey, you look phenomenal today.
Shout out to the Italians.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out to the Italians.
Shout out to us.
Good stuff.
Hell yeah. You are not. You took 23andMe. You got 0, 0, 0,
That's
0.
not true. That's not true.
You
That's
did.
not true.
You did.
No.
Anyways, you look cool.
Appreciate that. You do too.
No. Well, thank you. I'm wearing sleeves now. People are judging me, but I think I look cool as well. Thank you for that. That means a lot. Joining us now is the coolest head coach in the NFL. Now, granted, he just got named the head coach of the NFL, but he's formerly Super Bowl champion as a player for the New York Giants. I believe he's the only head coach in the history of the NFL who showed up in a drop top with stud earrings in. Ladies and gentlemen, lifelong Raiders fan, now the man in charge in Vegas, alongside Circle K, who are crowning some behind-the-scenes champions all week. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Antonio Pierce.
Yeah, coach.
What's up, man?
Man, can I get that intro like on game day in Allegiant Stadium? Like, that was awesome. Like, that'd be cool to come out like to that intro.
Well, I saw you walking around with black Air Forces, and I've seen your speeches afterwards. I feel like you're the only one that needs to be speaking on game day. And from what we've learned from talking to people that played alongside you back in the day whenever you were with the Giants, or how Eli Manning spoke about your incredible football intelligence and your IQ, feels like you've always been a coach. Is that kind of how you viewed it? Did you know you were going to be a coach after your playing days? And how nice is it to be in a perfect fit, seemingly, with the Raiders and who you are?
Yeah, I think it goes back to all of us, like sitting here on this platform. We all wanted to know the why, right? I want to know the why, and I want to know the explanation of why I was doing something and where we were going with it. So that way I can explain to my teammates while we're out there on the grass in between the white lines. That call comes in, 30 seconds prior? They're sitting there guessing what's going to happen. We're about to watch what's going to happen. And sometimes you go with your gut. So all those guys I played with, I kind of like leaned on them throughout my career. I was fortunate to play with some really talented players. Think about Bruce Smith, Deion Sanders, Jesse Armstead, LeVar Arrington, Darrell Green, go on and on. Like, I've been around some real dudes, man, Strahan, those guys. So what I learned was how to be a leader, but then also use what I could do mentally just to make us a better football team.
Did you know you were going to be a coach? Did you feel like you were going to be a coach? Because AJ over there, obviously all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, he has openly said, just like me, like, never going to be a fucking coach. Never. The amount of time and everything goes in. It feels like that's got to be something within you. Did you know you were going to be a coach?
Man, I love ball. It was my first love. You know what I mean? It was something I always wanted to be a part of. After I got done playing, I went into broadcasting. Right, I did that for a year. It's kind of like you guys. Put the makeup on, look good. What you mean? You got a little powder on, baby. Now, come on now.
No, this ain't spray tan either. I'm just naturally like this right here. Huh? Naturally red, Antonio. Naturally red.
Some of us don't have that. But look, honestly, I knew I was going to stay around the game of football, and that was going to be something I wanted to do my entire life. And obviously, I got a great opportunity at the lowest level, to be honest, in high school at Long Beach Poly. And then took that to Arizona State, and then obviously was blessed enough to come here with the Raiders and now be the head coach of Las Vegas Raiders.
Congrats, Coach. We love to see it. Go ahead, AJ.
I know you leaned on some legendary coaches as well. I know Tom Coughlin, I believe, was helping you out throughout the year and throughout the whole hiring process. Marvin Lewis, I believe, is on staff. Like, how important is it to have some of those guys around that you can lean on and kind of bounce ideas off?
Listen, there's nothing like experience and guys that's been there and done that, right? So for me, those are gentlemen that have known me since I was 22, 23, 25, 26 years old. And for me, that was important to sit there and be able to bounce things off of them, ask ideas. Okay, look, this came up. What would you do? What was, is there anything different? Do I need to look out for this? I don't want to make mistakes. We get one opportunity for the most part to be a head coach of the National Football League. Some guys are fortunate to get more than one. But for myself, I'm going to take advantage of all my resources and go that direction.
Yeah, you seemingly had success immediately becoming the interim head coach. We talked to Max Crosby. He said you brought back the Soul Train line and the hoop in the locker room, and you even numerous times, you started with the Raiders chant in the locker room. It's like, how easy of a decision was it for you to be like, the Raiders is the Raiders? What are we even talking about? Let's get back to who we are, and let's take pride in it. And how much did Mark Davis love that from you? And, like, how do you feel about the transition back into who the Raiders actually are, it seems like?
Yeah, well, first of all, just like what AJ talked about, why former players don't want to coach? because it's not fun. You forget the love of the game and why you're doing it. And you put in all these hours and you don't have the enjoyment of doing it, right? Guys win the game Sunday and coaches are mad about 1 or 2 mistakes. Hell no, we just worked our tails off for 6 days to get to that victory Monday, right? See you Wednesday type speech that we talked about. And I think with our guys in our locker room, and you talked to Max Crosby, you probably talked to Devontae, we just needed some excitement and some joy and some love for the game. I said, man, go back to when we was in Pop Warner, fellas, and you didn't know what the hell the play call was. You didn't know what your dad was telling you, where the ball was. You just went and got the ball, right? You just took the ball into the end zone. Keep the game simple. It's not a very difficult game, but more importantly, love what you're doing, love being around one another. And when I look at the Raiders, man, it's swagger. It's confidence. It's in your face. You know what I mean? Like, what are we talking about? Like, when you wear the silver and black, you know what time it is when you walk in the building, right? So for us, it's like, man, that's what we need to do. We need to intimidate teams mentally before the game even starts. And then obviously we got to go out there and play.
Do you feel like you have the locker room for it? Felt like it was an immediate response from the guys in the locker room whenever you kind of asked them to become what the Raiders have been known for whenever they were successful, but maybe lost their way a little bit.
Yeah, we talked about that throughout my time, 22 months as a linebacker coach, of just what it's like. Not even be a Raider, but be a pro. Like, what is it like to play the game the right way? How it sounds, how it looks, what it feels like, what it smells like. What does winning look like? What does winning stamina look like each and every week? What's a winning performance? Not just by the coaches, not by the players, but by the guy that's mopping the floor, by the kitchen, the chef. The food tastes a little better when everybody's all in, right?
Hell yeah.
Upstairs, we're making money when everybody feels a certain way you come in the building. So to me, it was like, listen, man, what we need to do is I need from bottom up. First floor to third floor, I need everybody all in. If you're not in, you need to go see Mark Davis and Sandra Douglas Morgan and probably get your check and get out the building. Because this is how we're going to rock from now on. And it wasn't hard, man, because that's what the guys wanted to do. That's the feeling we want. That's why we play this game. It's no different than why you're doing your show, right? You love what you do. But goddamn it, we only got a short window to play this game a certain way for this organization, this team, and this league. And this is how we're going to do it. The guys bought in, and listen, we need more wins and we want more wins, but I'll tell you what, we're going to do it with some style and flash. We're going to do it the Raider way.
Yeah, I love it. I love everything you're saying. Hey, Coach, I wish I could play for your team. Tone's got a question for
you. Come on,
me.
man. You look good. Shit, come on,
yeah.
you slow.
I'm not passing any tests.
I'm mad that you don't got the tank top on, though, man. I was like, you got the Rolex on. I was rocking mine. I'm like, come on, what are we doing?
Well, you have a full sweatsuit on. Do you have a tank top on underneath?
Raiders gear?
Yeah.
It's raining. No, it's just black. It's raining outside, bro. I might have to.
Hey, I heard rain and cold out there. What the fuck? We were coming out there this week. It's warmer in Indiana than it is in Vegas. What's the deal?
I don't know.
This is on you. This is on you.
Too much red. It's too much red in the city. Silver and black.
Football gods, I understand. Go ahead, Tone.
Coach, you talked about Devontae and Max Crosby and them coming out and basically saying, like, we don't want to be here if AP's not our coach. What did that mean? How'd that feel for you? And are those your leaders, your two leaders moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, that's huge, man. I mean, for those guys to step up, that speaks volumes for them, that they're comfortable in their own skin, knowing that, it might make everybody happy in the building. I'm sure Mark Davis didn't like that. And, we talked about it afterwards. And I think there's a way you go about it. But I think what it shows is that we were connected. We all see the same thing. We all want the same goal, and we see the same vision of how to get there. So when you got somebody in place that you're comfortable with, that you feel is pushing you to that level to get where you want to be. And at the end of the day, listen, it's all about winnings and productions, right, fellas? I get the whole glamour and all that, man. We're about winning. I mean, our goal is to try to get and be the best team in this division. And we know we got to go through the team in Kansas City. And number 15, it starts with those guys, and we got to knock them off each and every year, along with the rest of our division. But to have your two best players, not on the Raiders, but in the National Football League, talk about you. I mean, that little pressure on AP now. We got to come with it. We got to do a good job this offseason.
Hey, Max.
But yeah, listen, look.
Max was saying he was trade me. Fucking trade me.
Yeah.
You don't bring it.
No, don't do that, though. Hold on, slow down, Max. That's why I give a phone call. But we're good. Don't go there yet.
It felt like it was just a natural fit. And then, obviously, with what the players said. But Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Coach, going off all of that, then there were the reports right after the season where we were saying, hey, this is a slam dunk. Hire this guy right now. It just makes sense. All his best players want him to be hired as well. Then there were the reports that a couple other teams brought you in for interviews. What was that process like? And was it kind of just a formality? Was it always Raiders or bust for you?
Well, I'll tell you what, just to go through that process, I think, and what I told Mark is, told him very simple. Like, I don't want Mark making a decision based off the noise or what he's feeling pressure to do. I said, when you make your decision, I want you to go home at night and sleep well. Like, that's my guy. I made the right decision. No second guessing. If you second guess, let me go. Let me walk. And we had a great conversation about that. I think the formality with the other interviews was a great process for me. I didn't want to cheat any of this process. I wanted to go through it. I wanted people to poke holes in me and my process and what my vision was for a football team in the National Football League and get feedback, right? Because I know it one way right now, right? And that's the Raider way. But it's good to hear from other people, other GMs, other organizations of how they see things, what they see when they saw Antonio Pierce and the Raiders for those 9 weeks. So for me, great feedback, obviously great opportunity for me to get better, but Mark Davis and Raider Nation know where I wanted to be this whole time.
Okay, so because we thought that there was a chance that Mark Davis said, you've earned this opportunity to go interview somewhere else, and why don't you go see what it's like and then come back home? What did you get a chance to take away from other places? Is there stuff you're going to take away and kind of implement with the Raiders, or did you guys see how it worked last year while you're in them, and it's like, let's build upon that?
Yeah, I think what I got out of it was just the processes, right? You know, how you look at your staff. What's your philosophy in the draft, free agency? How do you build a team? How do you set the culture? How do you maintain the culture? How do you work together with people within the building? How do you get together with the communities and get out there and outreach and do things of that nature? So, and then also, when you talk to other organizations, everybody runs their place a little differently, right? It's kind of like, wow, okay, you do that. You don't do that. That's really cool what you do. And you take and say, all right, look, what can we do better, Mark? What have I seen or I've heard from outside? Because again, really a tight-knit group of owners and organizations where they don't really talk, right? Nobody, it's all these secrets and these back channels. And when you kind of infiltrate that a little bit and get some information, it makes us better.
Yeah, and obviously, whenever you have a high football IQ and you see what's good and what's bad, you know, because some people see stuff and it's like, oh, we should implement that, and it's shit. Yeah, it makes it worse. When you're a football genius, from what people say about you, that's not you saying it, that's what your teammates say about you, and an incredible motivator. Can't wait to see what the Raiders become, because an AFC West is a fucking monster right now. Go ahead, AJ. Yeah, hell yeah.
Come on.
Go ahead, AJ.
Hey, once you were named the interim head coach there, was there any doubt in your mind that you were going to become the full-time head coach?
No. I told Mark the day that we talked on October 31st that I was going to blow his mind, that he didn't know what was about to happen. I kind of laid it out to him what we was going to do each and every week. I was very upfront. I'm really big in communication. And I tell Mark exactly what we're going to do and how I see games playing out in our mindset. And let's go to that Christmas Day game. I told him to a T what we were going to do to that offense. I told him how we were going to finish that game. I felt it. Our players felt it. We built it up all week. We learned from our mistakes, a month prior when we blew a 14 lead at home. I said, no, we're not doing it. We're gonna put the fear in God in that offense and have them running for their lives. And that's kind of how it played out. No different than when we got shut out at home against the Minnesota Vikings. I was embarrassed. It was very embarrassing for our organization, myself, our staff, our players. We had 4 days. I told our guys, get out the building for an hour. We walked back in that bad boy. We washed our face. We went back to work. I said, look, man, we're going to roll. I said, I didn't think it was going to be 63 now. I will say that. But I told Telesco, I said, hell, when we got to 63, I was going for 71 because I was going to go for 2 to get that record. So that was going to piss him off. But, that's just our mindset, man. And what I've done with Mark and our relationship is really, really cool because we talk a lot throughout the week. Each and every day we talk, just lines of communication, so there's no surprises. But, yes, when he gave me that job, I had no plans or thoughts to let it go to anybody else. That was not going to happen.
The moxie of being a Raider seems like you're the perfect fit. Speaking of finding those, Connor has a question.
Yeah, Coach, you just mentioned it with Tom Telesco. How has that relationship been early on so far working with him, and what is the vision that you guys have as a team, going forward and building it together?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great, to be honest. It's been kind of a unique situation with me and him because he's going and looking at our staff, our roster, our personnel, our needs. Obviously, free agency's coming up. You got the combine, you got the draft. So he's working on his end, and I'm trying to build a staff together, right? So we kind of been bouncing things back and forth with one another. But what he does have is a lot of experience. He's been in places that they've won. Go back when he was in Indianapolis. He had a great mentor in Bill Polian. So he knows how to build a team, how to build a roster, both through the draft and free agency, and just bouncing ideas off. He knows I'm super aggressive. I'm going to sit there. I'm jumping for the stars, landing on the moon. Maybe I'm on Earth at some point. But it's a great balance between us two. And it's also like I got to push him along a little bit. Like, hey, man, we're rolling. Like, this bad boy, we're in Vegas. We're rolling. Like, there's no time to wait. I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl next year, but goddamn, we're going to be really competitive, and we need to get going now.
Finding Raiders. You know, it feels like there's an identity, there's a culture. Now we got to find the players that can continue to build it. Now, moving away from the Raiders, let's talk about the Raiders' home for the week. You know, there's another team there that's in your division, and you know the defense pretty well. Darius has a question for you.
Yeah, you played for Spags. We had Eli on, I think, last week, and he was talking about, how you guys would go back and forth at the line of scrimmage. You'll be changing blitzes from the side. What is it about that defense over there that Spags is running in Kansas City? And are you bringing some of that you did at the Giants and that defense to that Raider defense, which did a great job when you took over last year?
Yeah, what you see with Spags is somebody that's going to be aggressive. The closer you get to that goal line or to midfield, that's when the heat comes down, right? That's when you get your zero pressures. That's when you get your overloads. He does a good job of always giving you the same picture, right? You see those two corners. You see Snead really physical, put his hands on guys. Hell, they're choke out every receiver he can if possible. And then you got a really good corner in McDuffie. And at the end of the day, he's got the beast in the middle. He's got Chris Jones, and they just move him up and down the line. And they got a great middle linebacker who does a really good job of just kind of orchestrating that bad boy. It does. It reminds me of myself. Listen to the mic call, listen to where the direction of the slide's going, and then flipping that bad boy going from right to left or up the middle. I mean, they got it all, and that's why you really have to give credit to what Spags has done with that defense, because they're young. They're not. This is the first year they've really had a legit top 10 defense, and they've done it each and every week and really leaned on the defense more than offense.
And Spags got 0 conversations for head coaching, so he's just going to be there.
Crazy.
He's going to be there in the division seemingly forever, just doing what they're doing. Obviously, everybody's getting better in the AFC West. We're pumped about you getting added into the head coaching picture that takes place in Hawaii or wherever the hell it is every single year. Can't wait to see what you wear in that. You know? Versus what Andy Reid.
I got to get a little bigger, right? I got to get a little bit bigger, right?
I think so. You showing up in a drop with is the coolest thing of all time. I want to let you know that.
But I had that car for a while. Like, it's crazy. Like, first of all, I was cool before I was a head coach.
You're changing, man. You're changing it all.
That's what we're talking about.
You're changing it all. And you're not just doing it like in a bullshit way. You teamed up with Circle K this week to give back to the city of Las Vegas and all the people that are kind of behind the scenes. This is a beautiful thing. As soon as we heard about this, we're like, we'd love to talk about it, love to spotlight it. Why'd you get involved with Circle K, and what are you doing this week for the Super Bowl behind the scenes for the people that are working?
Yeah, I think you just hit on it, right? With Circle K, it's always about the people behind the scenes. Everybody knows the front runners, who's there, who's making all the calls. But it's really about this cup right here, right? And this is the only thing red I'm going to really hold around this week is because of Circle K. But more importantly, I got a little something here. It's not coffee, right? It's not espresso, but it's a $250 gift card for all these people behind the scenes. I'm going to walk around down here on the strip in a bit. I'm going to hand out this gift card to some people like, hey, man, look, you need to go ahead and join up with Circle K and myself, giving back to the Las Vegas community. It's always about the people that are behind the scenes, the bottom. I call them not the bottom feeders, the ones that nobody talks about, no recognition, but they're the ones that really make this bad boy work. And obviously, if you know my story, comes from that underdog mentality, the underdog world. Well, these are people from behind the scenes that people don't give enough credit to. That tonight and today, that's what we're going to do. And then you can check out my social media. Got some cool stuff coming later, man. I'm not going to quite tell you guys yet. Got to wait for the surprise. I can get my followers up a little bit more in likes, but you know how that works. We'll do that on my social media.
Hey, active. I was checking out at Antonio Pierce on X. You're active in there. Hey, he's active.
Hell yeah.
Come on, grow it.
How many coaches are active on social media? Like, the other key part, that's how you follow your players. That's where you know where they're at. Hey, where you at?
Yeah, but they're all doing it like from a ghost account. You're doing it from your actual account, which is why we appreciate what you're bringing to the NFL. The future is bright. You're the man. Thank you to you and Circle K taking care of the people that are doing it out there. And enjoy this entire offseason as a head coach, pal.
Enjoy. Man, I got work to do. Let's go, man. Let's go. Shit, I'm fired up.
All right, I hope it's fucking miserable, dude. Ladies and gentlemen, head coach of the Raiders, Antonio Pierce.
Yeah, coach.
That's awesome. Enjoy it. What are you talking about? This ain't fun.
Yeah, the work to do.
All right, we'll try to look around at least. Try to
smell the roses.
Smell the roses.
If Super Bowls are won just off of mentality, they're gonna win.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of.
I can see.
He's acting 100% as himself.
Yeah.
And it's like Mark Davis is like, this is what we need. I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah.
This is why, you know how much money I'm paying these coaches that aren't here anymore? And I don't even know where the Raiders are anymore. It's like, we need to get back to when I was a kid. Whenever I was around here and everybody feared the Raiders and there was an identity and a culture and at least we knew what we were getting. It's like, I hope it works because I appreciate whenever brands do things like this, which is get back to who they are and not be scared about it. Like, he's not scared to be himself. He's confident enough to be himself. It's like, I hope it works because that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, just on the surface, he seems just a little bit different than Josh McDaniels.
What?
So,
Not like a ton, but a little bit.
You can see why it might have been a bit of a breath of fresh air in there when he took over the job and guys actually enjoyed going to work again and stuff like that. So,
and Max Crosby didn't bury Josh McDaniels.
No.
And I don't think any of the guys buried Josh McDaniels.
And they could have.
They certainly could have. Yep. But boy, they were talking about how great it was.
Yeah.
And boy, how nice this is.
Yeah.
This is really fun. I didn't know it could be like this just a couple weeks ago. It was not saying anything about anybody else.
But it's fun now.
But boy, we fucking love coming to work now. And you can win that way whenever you get everybody to buy in, AJ.
Absolutely. If you can do it, like he seems to have found the balance of, hey, we're going to have fun, do this thing. We're going to try to intimidate the other team before we even step on the field, but also still holds them accountable. Like, that's the thing. You got to be able to make sure guys are not showing up late and doing all that. And I don't think anyone's doing that with Antonio Pierce at the helm.
Connor, seems like you're a Raiders fan all of a sudden.
Definitely not.
Okay.
But I will say it's crazy just think about the division. Like, in the next 3 to 5 years, one of Antonio Pierce, Sean Payton, and Harbaugh are gonna be talked about as if they fucked up their franchise, no matter what. And like, I love Antonio Pierce, and I think they're going to do well, genuinely do, pending who their quarterback
Sean
is.
Payton's in there.
Exactly.
Jim Harbaugh's in there.
And
Andy Reid's in there.
Yeah.
Two of them need a quarterback.
Yeah, and Sean Payton got a 10-year deal.
What are they going to do?
I don't know. Hey.
Trade up.
They have to.
All the quarterback situations are fascinating because, the more we learn about Caleb Williams from Lincoln Riley, right? Who knows what Chicago's going to do?
Yeah.
Well, people were plugging the Lincoln Riley, some of the things he said, unfortunately, about the...
To us?
Yeah, just strictly, I just saw people say on...
What are you talking about?
I'm getting there. I'm just saying people were saying...
No, let's make sure we get there in a full fashion.
Well, Lincoln Riley gave an answer about how, they were thinking about not offering Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams told them, hey, coach, that don't even matter. I'm going to walk on if you don't offer me. And a lot of people are saying... Lincoln Riley trying to say that he wasn't going to offer the number one quarterback in the country for that class is a pretty bold statement. But I don't know whether that's true or not.
He was the top-ranked quarterback.
That is
out.
When he went in for Rattler, who just won the MVP of the Senior Bowl as a South Carolina quarterback going into the NFL. Congrats to Spencer Rattler having the whole thing. There was Caleb Chance because of who he could be and what he was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So the Caleb Williams hype was real deal.
He was a 5-star number one quarterback.
Yeah. So him saying that was just people were poking holes through
but
that.
But they had their quarterback, so maybe they weren't.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Maybe he was just thinking about you should go play somewhere else. We got Spencer Rattler. He said, I'll walk on because I love Sooners so much.
Yeah, that's my favorite part is that Caleb was like, oh, okay. Well, I won't take a different.
Lincoln Riley did. I feel like he knows him better than we do.
Absolutely.
He's been with 2 different places with him, been around him, has had success with him, been with the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, I assume very emotional moments. And he said, low maintenance. The guy loves ball, loves winning, low maintenance. That's all good stuff to hear.
I can see it from Caleb's standpoint. Lincoln Riley developed, a couple Heisman winner, number one pick. So if I'm the top quarterback, that's probably the guy I want to go for. But, Lincoln Riley,
Dick, what do you say?
That was the debate.
Bullshit.
There, it's just on here.
Didn't have scholarships.
Yeah. He was just trying to say how much he loves ball and how much he wanted to be a Sooner.
And maybe
that might have just been a conversation at dinner where Lincoln Riley was just trying to test the cut of his gym.
Yeah. Sure.
I'm not gonna give you a scholarship. How about that, Caleb?
And Caleb was, I'll walk on then. How about that?
Holy shit, I fucking love this.
You got a scholarship.
Give him the scholarship.
And maybe Aiden O'Connell is the Raiders quarterback. Now, was he the best quarterback? No, but was he a pretty good rookie quarterback? Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And Purdue, guy could spin it.
At Purdue?
Yeah.
Purdue!
How's Indiana? Indiana's football team is crushing it right now.
Yeah, they're still keeping an eye on Purdue and Ohio State and Michigan. But yeah,
Coach Cignetti's rallying the money.
Oh, yeah. He's a winner.
Coach Cignetti, head coach for the Indiana University Hoosier football team, freshly out of JMU, and he does just win. Another guy that just wins no matter what is without a job in the NFL. You know why?
Why's that?
Potentially because he's too big of a dog.
What?
Oh my God.
Too big of a dog.
Like inside of him or physically stature?
No, just physical.
No, I think also what's inside.
The grit of
that absolute monster strapping lad from Ohio, Mike Vrabel. There was a podcast that was done for The Athletic, I believe, and this has been a pretty heavy The Athletic show.
Yeah.
Shout out to the journalism taking place over there. Diana Rossini was speaking on a podcast where she said down at the Senior Bowl, she caught up with an anonymous GM, did not give the name, that said, I've been in these rooms before. There's a chance that maybe Vrabel's just too fucking big to be a head coach in the NFL. Here's the clip.
What's your sense of why, Vrabel doesn't have a head coaching job right now?
I don't think that there was a fit for him. I don't think he sat in front of any owner who thought that his style was going to work for what they were looking for. Do you know I had a GM at the Senior Bowl who mentioned to me Vrabel's physical build, that he's a very large human being and can be very intimidating to people in an organization that are going to be part of these decisions. And that is a factor, which I laughed. I said, stop. That's not something that's real. Who cares what someone physically looks like?
Thank you.
And he said, I'm just telling you, I've been in rooms, and somebody's physical presence can make a difference.
What is your sense of why, Vrabel
See the size of that fucking guy?
Right
huge.
You see this? You see the size of that guy?
Mm-hmm. You want to talk to him?
Are we going to disagree on trading our number one wide receiver on draft night? Do you want to? Do you want to have this discussion with that guy?
I don't think you do.
How many Zins did he have in his mouth when he walked in here?
8.
He had 2 of those Zin pins in his mouth. Hit a vape. Look how fucking big he is. Is that who we want to be our head coach of football? What are we talking about, AJ? Who's this anonymous GM? How do we smack him in the mouth?
Yeah.
And how do we say, what are we doing? That this is even a part of the conversation for why Mike Vrabel wasn't a fit anywhere. Now, we respect and appreciate Diana Rossini. She's obviously plugged in, tapped in, has done great reporting football for a very, very long time. She's just reiterating what she was told by somebody who's a decision-making and has been in this room before. But that's absurd. That's ridiculous. And if that's the reason why Vrabel didn't get a head coaching job, I'm disappointed. I'm bummed out. I'm bummed out that that's where the NFL is. I'm bummed out.
I tell you what, I give Diana. I'm glad Diana pushed back and said, "Stop. That's not real." And the guy doubles down and continues to say this. Don't put that guy's name out because that guy should be fired. If you're saying this guy's too tall, he walked in our room and he's too tall,
real tall,
and he was actually a confident human and had a plan. So we feel weird hiring him like that. How did Dan Campbell get a job? How does that big guy get a job?
That's what they're saying about Sheila Ford Hamp, is that Sheila Ford Hamp is a fucking dog.
Hell
Because
yeah.
she looked at MCDC and said, yep, I want that guy in my building now.
And Brad and Chris Spielman.
Yeah. Well, Spielman's a big guy, too.
Sheila Ford Hamp's like, yeah, I want some fucking dogs in here.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Great Danes.
So he's supposed to walk in there deflated, in lack of confidence, with no presence? That's who you want leading?
Bad posture, just sit there and slump down and tell them you don't know what you're doing.
No Zins? What are we talking about?
How boozed up was that GM?
Oh, just talking shit.
He just make
he ain't getting jaw. He's too fucking big. You see that?
You see a guy?
Guys fucking all these big guys think they're so cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't want to make that big fucking big dumbass. Okay? Jeez. What are we talking? We got to get another size chair at the table? I don't think so.
Gonna punch me because I disagree with you, big man? No, I don't want to do this.
Diane, does he have a job? He does it. Just like I fucking said it would.
Probably right. Probably correct.
Know how Pete Carroll said that these are non-football people making these decisions? Maybe this is small dog people making these decisions, that they're not big dog people.
Okay, so I don't want to go deeper into this whole thing, but Lombo was like, everybody wants to do a collaborative effort. Everybody wants to be, let's do collaborative effort. And Lombo is like, hate to break it to you, you're going to need somebody that is going to guide a ship. It might be the modern era of thinking that maybe Mike Vrabel won't listen to outside opinions because he's so fucking big.
True.
Which is, I believe, sizest. I think there is some sort of ism that is taking place here that I don't like. Not one bit, especially for our friend Vrabel. But this can't be how the world operates, especially the NFL, when we're talking about a meritocracy, AJ.
And I'm glad we played that, and Diana did push back and do all that. That's
not Diana's fault.
No,
not at all. No. She did the right thing by saying, "Stop! You're joking. This isn't real. You got to be kidding me." And the fact that they continue to say that, man, I'm just curious who that might be, and if that person was even 50% serious with that comment.
And if we can Figure out who it is. Bet against that team.
Yes.
Look at the small gyms. Is that why Belichick is not?
Oh, because he's fucking
He's
barrel
driving.
chest.
Oh, yeah. Because that video. It's
That
all
ring
arrow
camera
chest.
screwed him.
Too intimidating.
He's so fucking
Sorry.
strapped.
This guy-
Drake's never going to get a
I was
job.
gonna say that's why people are very intimidated by Drake whenever he walks into a room.
Oh.
Yeah, well,
What do you
not about
mean?
the size of his
Drake.
body. about
AJ,
the
what do you,
size
oh
of
boy?
his
What do you mean?
Pieces.
AJ?
That dude is slapping that thing around, huh?
Yep.
I don't like it. He's a victim right now. I don't like
Did he
it.
how did it get out? How did it get out?
He deserves privacy just like anybody else, but
Guy was wrestling an anaconda.
What do you mean? How did it get out? The guy's got a fucking baby elephant trunk in between his legs, and he was fucking swinging it around.
we learned a lot. We learned a lot about him on the internet this morning while we were getting ready for the show. Obviously, we like to keep track of internet trends, and Drizzy, Drake, and Wow were all trending at one time.
His
and,
popularity soared today.
Yeah, he almost took off from his bed like a helicopter.
well, he actually was spinning like a dreidel at one point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's certainly a world we live in times, but I don't like the Vrabels getting judged.
You think going forward he has to go to all of his interviews in like a wheelchair?
Here's the deal,
cut himself
Vrabes.
in half.
Here's the deal, Vrabes. Get the Ozempic.
Yep.
There it is.
Lose half a body. You want to get back into head coaching? You need to stop being so physically imposing. Stat. Or do you not want a job? He told the busting with the boys he'd cut off his penis for another Super Bowl.
All right.
Would he cut off half his body? Because that's what he needs. You prove it to us, pal. Whether you want it or not.
Do you love football?
That's on you, Vrabes. And AJ, I know you'll talk to him much sooner than I will. We would like an answer from him on whether or not he's willing to maybe stop working out.
Yeah.
Stop taking care of himself.
Right.
Maybe stop standing with his chest out like he's confident in something that he's accomplished. Maybe don't speak at all.
Ooh.
Don't have any words to say. Just keep it down, shut your mouth, lose some weight, lose some muscle, and maybe, just maybe, you'll be a head coach in the NFL.
Yeah.
So I would like to get an answer from him.
Okay, yeah, and he definitely, it doesn't help that he goes out there and he puts the big chest pad on, and he's playing with the D lineman at these pro days. He's jacking them up, doing it in pregame. He's hitting these dudes. Like, that doesn't help his cause, I guess.
I'm FaceTime, cold call, FaceTime.
If he answers, tell him to do the Kevin Nash wheelchair gimmick. That'll help.
To be clear, it certainly would. Cut him in half.
Yeah.
He has never answered a FaceTime from me in his entire life, let alone live.
Maybe his phone isn't capable of FaceTime. He got rid of that function.
Maybe he just doesn't FaceTime.
That's what I mean.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, but we're on a show. We need to see him so people know it's him. So he has to FaceTime.
He could also go the
Oh,
opposite.
he's too big to answer a FaceTime, huh?
Okay.
Oh, wow. Maybe that's the reason why.
Text him a Zoom link.
Wow.
Hey, both of his kids are big humans as well. That probably doesn't help the cause. Like, the whole family. Jeez, what are we talking about? Jen was a college volleyball player, too. She's a stud, his wife.
So
yeah.
So he said faith, family, football.
Yep.
Okay, we can deal with his God being big and him being big. But his family's going to be big, too.
Oh,
I mean,
come
everything's
on.
got to be big. Are we
Can't
just
have
looking up the whole time? I got a bad neck.
I hate this guy.
Can't have it.
He should just get wicked fat.
I think we're at the bottom of our barrel, dude.
I think so.
Before we
He
get
got
out
down to 130. He got like 135, and people think he's sick. He's like, no, I'm just trying to get another job, guys.
like Matthew McConaughey in that Dallas Buyers Club.
Bingo.
Yeah.
If you want to be a head coach or not, dude, that's what we're trying to fix here.
Good luck.
That's Senior Bowl. That's a GM, she said. Acting GM.
Yep.
Current GM. I've been in those rooms before. Some of those big fuckers.
They don't want to hire him.
Too much.
We need to get a.
I've
We need to
been
go.
in
Do
there.
they do the GM picture?
And just try to figure out who it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
I believe
guys,
they do.
We can figure it out.
there's one guy that we all love a lot. It's a smaller GM that maybe he could have been one of the guys.
What are you talking about? Don't you be sizist.
I'm not being sizist, but if we're just looking at it from a scientific angle here, the people who are probably disparaging the biggest are probably the smallest.
Okay.
Well, we don't know that.
So
We don't know that for sure.
Who is the smallest?
I don't. And once again, I don't want to be this guy, but I do believe that there's a GM who is like 5'8", 150 pounds soaking wet, and his name's Tom Telesco. And I love the guy.
Tom Telesco.
He hired Antonio.
He's not telling
know.
Diane. Yeah, Antonio Pierce. You think he's scared?
Who's the smallest one up there, guys? You tell me.
Wow.
What's that? RL3, row 1.
Howie Roseman's a tiny little guy.
Yeah, but he's got the fire.
Yeah, who is L3 row 1?
We don't need to be judging guys like this.
Oh, hold on. It's Tom
because we
Telesco.
don't need to be
Who's right in the middle?
Les Snead.
Big Baldy.
No. The
That's looking at the camera.
That's the fuck your picks
Howie
were.
Roseman.
4 or 5, 6. L6.
Remember Travis Kelce on the New Heights pod, and it went through the new head coaches, He's like, coaching his division.
Yeah.
I've
never seen that guy before.
That was awesome. Josh McDaniels.
It's not Joe Douglas, I can tell you that.
No.
Ain't John Lynch.
No, it ain't anybody that's been around football. So then that kind of, guess who? It's probably like an analytics.
It's definitely a front row guy.
All right. We'll save this conversation for another day in the offseason because we will get to the bottom of this. This is journalism.
Yep.
One of our guys is being judged against is Top Golf. Reminds us that if you book on the app right now, half off Monday through Wednesday. So obviously you can you can book yourself today at your Top Golf location for half off. I don't believe it works at the Las Vegas location, but at Arkansas where you can see a lot of things.
That's right.
And in Indianapolis and every other city in which there is a Top Golf location, if you book through the app, you'll get half off Top Golf, which is a beautiful thing. The environment's awesome. Families can go. Couples can go on a date, and it's an active thing, so you don't have to feel like you got to carry a conversation the entire time. The boys can go, because food comes directly to you. You can chit chat. There's privacy. If the weather's terrible, we got heaters.
Ooh.
It's brilliant. It's a fucking brilliant concept. Old Top Golf,
the best,
and we're thankful that they joined us. Legit.
Love you, Top Golf.
Now these Top Golf golf balls that we have in our last day here in the Thunderdome. D-Butch, you want to try to bury one of these things so that 20 people can maybe win $500
Come on,
on the Super Bowl 58 Tuesday? Now, the golf balls do fly, these little...
Yes, they do.
Pop the top.
These fluffy balls.
They move.
Is that waterproof, that whole outfit?
That's such a cool white tee you got on, dude.
If water
Such
touches
a cool white tee.
changes color.
Oh, that'd be...
Is that Louis Vuitton white tee?
Robert Bearcat.
Whoa.
Bobby
Bearcat?
Hold on, that might be... I've worn a couple of those
That's
shirts.
how you pronounce it? I always said Baccarat.
Well, Baccarat, we could potentially play for like 45 hours in Vegas.
Yeah, can't wait.
But you'll be able to win a bunch of money, they say. D-Butch, all you got to do is put that Top Golf ball, which is a ball from a company that's all about fun and having
Yeah,
That's
Get
right.
it from the God.
into that garbage can right over there that has Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who's looking to finish his family story.
Yeah.
Man.
You know, looking to potentially finish his family story at WrestleMania.
He does have a story of his own,
out
doesn't
there in
he?
Philadelphia. And so does Roman, yeah. So does that family, that island, everything.
The tribe.
But Cody Rhodes has been working his ass off.
He has.
Put the company on his back
guess
to
his
finish
story
his story.
means more
We'll
now.
see what happens on Thursday.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens
TBD.
on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern on Peacock and all the WWE socials. But if you put that Top Golf ball into that trash can right over there, 20 people, $500 on our last day in the Thunderdome of the football season. Yeah, right to left, it will be a draw if you throw it. Athlete! Athlete! D-Butch! 20 people, $500.
Hell yeah.
That's how you go in
Let's go.
to Super Bowl week. Radio Row. We'll be live tomorrow.
Love you, Top Golf.
Hell yeah, we love you, Top Golf. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Incredible.
We can't thank you all enough. Thank you to our guests for having conversations with us every single day. The next 3 days live from Radio Row are going to be absurd as we propel into the greatest Super Bowl weekend of all time. AJ, great work. Boys, great work. Let's all travel safely. Let's enjoy the hell out of this. And let's never, ever forget that we're incredibly thankful to be alive. We're lucky to be here. And without all of you that watch, we wouldn't get to live the dumbest lives of all time. You're the greatest humans on earth. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. It might change their life. We're in this thing together. Team on me. Team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Team.
Goodbye.